Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has a conqueror bloodline in fairy tale. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by killerssg and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1, October 10th Konohagakure. Nothing was going on in the village except for its daily activities with the citizens, and the shinobi going about their lives. There were 5 people that were getting attention though compared to most with them being teens and one a child, but they were different. One of them was a young woman who looked to be 14 years old, had black hair with an exotic look that went down her back. She had beautiful red eyes that made her look like she had the Sharingan, and had a figure that most women would kill for her. Her outfit consisted of a red undershirt that went down to her mid-thigh with a long sleeve on her right arm, but not her left, with a white sleeveless shirt covering her top half and had them on her wrists. She had her headband on her forehead to finish off the outfit. The next person was a man who looked to be around her age at 15. He had black hair as well with sideburns framing his face. He wore a flak jacket with the dark blue long-sleeved shirt with the red spiral symbol on his left arm with a white wrapping right under it. He had his headband on his forehead like the woman as well. The third person wore a green spandex suit with a red belt with the leaf insignia on it as a buckle. His hair was shaped like a bowl cut, and had bushy brows to finish off the look. The last 2 people had similar outfits on, with them being of umbu. The first one was taller of the 2, who had spiky silver hair with his headband covering his left eye. He was 16 years old as well. The last person was 10 years old. He had spiky blonde hair that went down his neck with 2 bangs framing his face much like his father, and violet eyes like his mother. He had 3 whisker marks on each cheek. He wore the same outfit as the other guy. These people were Kurenai Yuhi, Asuma Sarutobi, Mado Guy, Kakashi Hatake, and Naruto Namikaze. How are your parents doing, Naruto-kun? Kurenai asked her best friend. They're doing fine. Tusan is with Kachan right now, as she's due any day now, so he's been spending more time with her than usual, which was plenty to begin with. Naruto chuckled, knowing how protective he is of his wife. You can't blame him, Naruto Emoto. He's been excited to have a daughter to spoil since Kushina-sama spoiled you when you were little. Kakashi said. I'm not blaming her, Kakashi and I-san. I'm just saying, and I'm excited to be having a little sister. No boy will ever go near her if I have anything to say about it. Naruto threatened, making everyone's sweat drop. I feel bad for every boy that will want to talk to her with Naruto acting like this. Everyone's sweat dropped. What about you guys? I haven't seen you 3 in some time, and it's nice to see you all again. Naruto said with a smile, making Kurenai blush a little. Despite being a few years older than him, she thought he was handsome already, but never told him how she felt about him, scared of being rejected. I'm fine, Naruto-kun. My eternal rival and I have done another challenge, making our youths burn so brightly, isn't that right, Kakashi? Guy shouted in glee, striking a nice guy pose, making everyone step away a little. You say something, Guy? Kakashi asked lazily, not looking up from his book. Damn your cool hip attitude, Kakashi. Guy screamed with anime tears streaming down his cheeks. I've been taking a few missions lately, and that's about it. Aside from that, not a lot has been going on. Asuma said. I'm also fine, Naruto-kun. It's great to see you again as well. Kurenai said with a small smile, with him returning and making her blush again. They would have kept their conversation going when they heard a roar, making everyone terrified for what was going on, knowing what that roar was. The Kyubi. How did it get here and who brought it here? Asuma asked in fear, seeing it for the first time. I'm not sure, but we need to get moving and figure out what we need to be doing. Kurenai said calmly, but on the inside she was shaking in fear. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna go find my parents and figure out what happened. Naruto said, taking off. Naruto! Kakashi said, trying to get his attention, but he was gone already. Come on, Kakashi! Let him go, he's a strong kid. He'll be able to help them, and we need to go help the civilians evacuate. Kurenai said. She was worried about him as well, but knew she couldn't do anything about it now. With Naruto was jumping through hopping rooftops as fast as possible, getting to his parents, so he can find out what happened. He knew that his mother held the Kyubi and never treated her any differently. He also had gotten to talk to the Kyubi from time to time, finding out that there's so much more to him and the other Biju aside from what history says about them being mindless, destructive, and terrifying creatures, but knew that they were treated unfairly and wished he could do something for them all. He had gotten the Kyubi's respect for wanting to help him and his siblings have better lives. For this, he had told him his name, but asked him not to tell anyone since he only trusted those with his name. Naruto had gotten to the Kyubi when he saw his parents disappear in a familiar yellow flash, knowing that his dad had saved his mother from harm, making Naruto wonder why the Kyubi had tried to kill her when they were on good terms, until he saw his eyes having the Sharingan symbol in them, knowing what had happened now. The Sharingan? There's only been one person who would be able to do this to Kurama, but he's supposed to be dead. He shouted to himself. Kurama! Can you hear me? I know you're there. Please fight the genjutsu. You're stronger than that, aren't you? Naruto shouted, trying to help his friend. Kurama turned around, seeing his friend, but not able to recognize him, and went to attack him with one of his tails as Naruto jumped to another rooftop to avoid it. Damn it! Naruto shouted as he created a clone went through some hand signs. Water release, water dragon jutsu, fire release, great flame bomb. Combined they created a boiling bomb when the water dragon made contact with the flame bomb, adding more power to it as it connected with the biju, sending it back several feet, getting the attention of several shinobi. Naruto-sama, one shinobi said. Did you see that? He combined two elements like that to make the attack stronger and made an impact on the Kyuubi. Another shinobi shouted in awe. Naruto-kun. Kurenai shouted in awe of what her crush had just done. He's amazing. Another said. As Naruto continued attacking him for a few minutes, he noticed how his eyes changed back to slits instead of the Sharingan releasing the genjutsu, but wasn't in the right mind still. Kurama charged a Baijidama when he saw Naruto and Minato over by the Hokage monument, with Naruto panting slightly from trying to keep the collateral damage to a minimum when Minato appeared next to him. Are you okay, son? Minato asked worriedly to his son. I'm fine, Dad. Just a little exhausted is all. Trying to keep Kurama from destroying the village is not easy. What happened exactly to cause all this to happen? Naruto asked as he continued to pant. Someone released him from your mother's seal knowing it would be weak during childbirth. We'll talk more about this later. Watch out, Minato shouted as they looked up to see the Baijidama heading towards them, as they both held familiar-looking tri-pronged kunais as they went through the same hand signs as it hit the monument, except instead of it blowing up, seals scattered next to them as it spread like a spider web, consuming it until it disappeared completely, sending it to another location. Stay here, son, you've done more than enough for this village, let me finish this. Minato said as he disappeared next to the Kyuubi and again disappeared in a yellow flash. Unknown to Minato, Naruto tagged him with his own Hiraishin mark so he could find out what he's got planned. Naruto followed with his own flash, except his was red instead of yellow like his father's, and he saw an altar with his mom holding Kurama at bay with her chains while his father was setting up what looked like a ceiling, and he saw what or who was on the altar. It was his newborn sister, and he immediately knew what his father was about to do, and he couldn't let that happen. He decided right then and there that he would save his sister's fate and seal Kurama in him to protect his sister from a lifetime of hate and sorrow, knowing the life of a Jinchuriki would be like. He appeared in a red flash as he saw his dad starting the hand signs, but before he could finish them, Minato was knocked out by him getting the attention of his mother and Kurama, who had gotten more control of himself by now. Naru-chan! What the hell are you doing? Kushina shouted in anger, seeing him knock her husband out. I'm doing what is best for everyone. There's no way I could allow my little sister be turned into a Jinchuriki. I'm sorry for this, mother, but my sister will need dad and you when this is over, Naruto said as he went through the same hand signs, making Kushina's eyes widen in horror, as she didn't know that Naruto knew this particular jutsu. Shiki Fuin, a demonic being appears behind Naruto with a sword in its mouth, wearing a white robe and had beads as well in its hand. Who dares to summon me? The being asked angrily. I did, Shinigami-sama. I apologize for summoning you, but I would like your help in sealing the Kyuubi into me fully. The price will be my soul, as I wouldn't want my sister or anyone I care about to go through this. My sister will need my parents in life more than me, so I offer my soul to you as payment for your services. Naruto said, making Kushina start crying. Very well, boy. I'll take your soul as payment for sealing the Kyuubi into you. The Shinigami said emotionlessly, but in his mind was another story. To think this one would sacrifice his own life and take the Kyuubi with him to save his family like this. I have a feeling he's more than meets the eye. Naruto Namikaze, huh? I'll have words with you when this is done, he said to himself. Naru-chan. Please don't do this. What will I do without my baby boy? What will Kakashi, Nanko, Yujuto, Kuratsuchi, Pakura, and Kurenai think about all of this? Kushina cried out in tears. He smiled at his mother. They'll be okay and live their lives. I know they'll be able to do great things. I love Kurenai and the others so much, but could never tell Kurenai and Anko with me being scared of ruining our friendship with them not feeling the same way. Yujuto, Pakura, and Kuratsuchi will find someone to love. I was hoping to see them again soon, but it looks like my time is up. I love you so much, Mom. Tell Dad and my little sister that I'll always be watching them from above, looking out for them. I also left letters for each of you should anything have happened to me, along with letters to Kakashi, Kurenai-chan, Anko-chan, Kuratsuchi-chan, Pakura-chan, Yujuto-chan, and Mikoto-oba-chan. Naruto said, shedding his own tears, knowing he'd never see his family and friends again, as he went through another set of hand signs. For what it's worth, I am sorry about this, Kushina-chan. I hope you can forgive me for this happening, Kurama said as he had started disappearing. 8 trigram seal. Naruto casted the seal on his stomach to further improve the seal, as he could feel his life fading from him as the ritual was done, and Kurama was sealed completely into him, causing him to collapse, barely breathing at this point. Kushina's chains retracted back inside her, as she limped over to where Naruto was along with her daughter Mito. As she got closer, she could hear crying and some low breathing from her son, knowing he doesn't have much time left. Why, Naru-chan? Why do you have to leave me? You had such a long life ahead of you, son. Kushina cried as she was angry at everything that had happened. It's okay, Mom. This was something that needed to happen. Please don't be blame Kurama either. It wasn't his fault this happened. I saw his eyes and they were of the Sharingan. He was put in a Jigen Jaijutsu. Promise me that you won't be blame him. Naruto wheezed out as he was coughing. Who's Kurama-san? Kushina asked as her sobbing turned into quiet hiccups. The Keikayubi. Whoever did this, was a RR rogue mean, so don't blame the Uchiha that I'll live here and now. Danzo will make sure they're the ones who are be blamed. He wheezed out as he cupped his mother's cheeks smiling at her. Of course son. She replied with a sad smile. Can I SCM my sister? He asked with a small smile. She couldn't answer with words so she nodded as she brought her to him, so he could see her for the first time. Here she is son. This is Mito. Your beautiful little sister. She said with a smile seeing him coo at her making her giggle despite what was about to happen. Mito. I'm so sorry that I'm leaving you so soon before I could get to know you. Remember to always listen to mom and dad as they know what's best. Eat well and study hard. I'll live life to the fullest and make a lot of friends. Keep an eye on Grandma Tsunade for me as she loves to gamble and drink. Keep it to a minimum for me, okay? Also kick Jiraiya in the b-balls for me as he always tried to make me a pervert. Hee. I'll always love and be proud of you and Mito Namikaze. Naruto said as he kissed her forehead and closed his eyes giving his last breath. Kushina cried harder than she ever had as she watched her son die and soon after Hiruzen, Tsunade, Jiraiya, came upon the scene with Minato slowly waking up. What happened here? Kushina? What happened to Naruto? Hiruzen asked dreading what she would say. He's gone. He used the Hake Fuin on himself along with the 8 trigram seal to seal the Kyuubi away instead of his sister so she wouldn't have to have such a burden. Kushina cried as others gasped at what she said with Minato having his eyes shadowed by his hair. Damn it son! You were supposed to make it, not me. Why? Why'd you do it instead of me? Minato cried in sadness and anger not at him but at himself as he held his wife and daughter. No. Tsunade cried as she collapsed from the news of her godson. I can't believe it. How'd he even know the jutsus as he was never taught them? Hiruzen asked in disbelief. He never said, but he did tell me a number of things regarding everything that happened tonight. It would be better to discuss it in private, Kushina said as she stopped crying remembering what he told her. When they were about to carry his body, they saw the Shinigami appear and Kushina immediately stood in front of her son in defense. What are you doing here? You already took my baby boy from me. What more could you want? Kushina sneered at the deity. I'm here for the body of the boy, she said as everyone surrounded him. You will not take his body from us, Shinigami-sama. Why do you want his body? Minato growled out, already angry at losing him, and would be damned if he didn't get to bury him at least. Silence, mortal. I'm simply going to be reuniting his soul with his body. He's needed elsewhere to help another world, she said. What do you mean another world? Why would you send him to another world? Hiruzen asked respectfully, not wanting to anger the deity. That's something you don't need to know. Just know that he'll be alive and with his selfless sacrifice. I have some gifts I plan to give him to help him, she said. So he'll be alive? But he'll be all alone in that world. Tsunade nearly shouted with Kushina of the same mind. What kind of gifts if I may ask? Jiraiya finally asked as he hadn't said anything all this time. Not that it won't matter, but I'll be giving him a bloodline or two that will be of the most helpful to him for his new journey. When he's done what he's needed to do there, he'll be coming back here as he's needed here still, she said, surprising everyone, making Kushina, Minato, Tsunade cry with Hiruzen and Jiraiya smiling and tearing up in happiness upon hearing this. My baby boy will be coming back. When? Where? How? Kushina quickly asked, being happy to have her son back someday. Bloodline? What would you be giving him? Jiraiya asked, not needing to ask about it since Kushina had done it already. Yes. He will be back. As to when, I don't know. I can't predict the future, and I will be telling him all of this, and to what he'll be doing and what his mission will be. His bloodline will be up to him as I don't know what he will say, Shinigami said in slight annoyance. We thank you for answering our questions. It means the world to know what will be happening to our son. We'll let you take his body, Minato said as he stepped aside along with a hesitant Kushina and Tsunade. I'll be back someday with the boy, she said as she tapped the body as it slowly disappeared along with the Shinigami. Come on everyone, we need to get back to the village along with telling everyone what has happened here, especially Kakashi, Enko, and Kurinai as they were close friends along with a brother to Naruto in Kakashi's case. Minato said as he carried Kushina as she was still exhausted from everything she went through and did. I'm proud of you son and I'm sorry that you had to do this for us. Make us proud wherever you're at. We'll wait for you, they all thought as Kushina passed out from exhaustion with a small smile on her face. Unknown location. Where the hell am I? Naruto asked looking around. You're here in Limbo, Naruto Namikaze. You're here for a few reasons. I know you're expecting to be stuck in my stomach for eternity, but that won't be the case here, Shinigami said, startling him. Thank you, Shinigami-sama. But why am I not doing what we agreed to? He asked. Reason being is that you're still needed, but not for a few years, whereas you're needed somewhere else for the time being, she said with a small smile, seeing him stand straighter if it was at all possible. What do you need me to do? He asked professionally. I'll be sending you to a world known as Earthland where you'll start your mission. Earthland is different from the elemental nations where instead of chakra being used, the world is known for using magic. When using magic they use spells instead of jutsus. There is a darkness in the world that will come to pass if the threat isn't taken care of and the people there will need your help. I'll also be giving you some gifts to help you to accomplish this. She said, Of course. I'll do what I need to do to get this done. What are these gifts you have for me if I may ask? He asked curiously, raising his eyebrow. I'll be giving you a bloodline or two depending what they are though. Your family knows of this too, along with when you're done with this mission you'll be going back to Konoha where they'll need your help again. She said. Naruto was surprised by what he had heard with the Shinigami of all beings giving him a bloodline, but now he wonders which one he'll be given. I can tell you're surprised by this, with how selfless you were in performing the sealing instead of your father along with sealing the QB into yourself so your sister wouldn't have to worry about it. Not everyone would do that sort of thing. I can respect that kind of action as you don't find many people like you Naruto Namikaze. I have a few in mind I want to offer you. You'll have the knowledge and jutsus, but you'll have to put in the work to master them so you'll have your work cut out for you. There's the notorious wood release that Hashirama Senju had once used, and no one had been able to use since his death. There's the lava and boil release that I would grant you, ice release that the Yuki are known for, storm release like wood release only 1 or 2 people have ever been able to use, the Sharingan that the Uchiha are known for, and lastly the Rinnegan that the Sage of Six Paths had when he was alive. These are what you have to choose from and choose wisely as once you make your choice, there will be no going back on your decision, she said sternly making him nod in understanding. Those are some options to choose from. I can respect each of them as I know people who have had or who do use certain bloodlines. My friends Mei Termui-chan used both lava and boil releases along with Kuratsuchi-chan using lava release, and they're terrifying people when angry, but amazing kunoichis. Wood release like you said was once used by my Shodame Hashirama Senju when he used it to battle Madara Uchiha along with Kurama and still won. I don't like how he used his wood release to capture each of the Biju, and gave them away like trophies to the villages when they're much more than that. The Sharingan is also something spectacular that can also be used against the Biju, but only one person has been able to control them. Then there's the legendary Rinnegan. I don't know all of the capabilities, but what I have learned about it there are a total of 6 paths that he could use with them being Naruka path, Animal path, Deva path, Azura path, Human path, Preta path, and Outer path. These are all impressive bloodlines and I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity Shinigami-sama, he stated respectfully. Kit, I would suggest you pick the Rinnegan out of all of them. Kurama put in his 2 cents and finally after having been able to be back to normal. Kurama? It's good to hear from you friend. Why the Rinnegan? Naruto asked. It's because you remind me a lot of my old man, and with you having the Rinnegan would be his successor. I'd be able to adjust it where you'd be able to activate it, and deactivate like if you had the Sharingan as normally you wouldn't be able to deactivate them. But with the adjustment you wouldn't have to worry about it, he said with a smile as his container smiled back and put out his fist with Kurama returning it as they bumped fists. Are you sure Kurama? What other benefits would I get from it? Naruto asked his friend. You'd be able to use every basic elemental affinity, and even if worked hard enough could recreate some bloodlines like was offered to you along with me helping you master the Rinnegan abilities. Kurama answered making Naruto have his decision made. Alright thanks Kurama. We'll also work on mastering your chakra as well, but that would be very much later on after working on everything else because I don't want to rely on you alone or use your chakra without permission since we are partners. Your opinion matters just as much as mine does. Naruto answered getting a nod from the kitsune. Naruto. You truly are like father. I knew when I met you that you were special, but getting to know me without any hate towards me and my siblings and getting to know us personally and see us as sentient beings makes me believe you're what father mentioned, all those years ago. He thought to himself about his host. We've made our decision Shinigami-sama, after discussing it with Kurama, we'd like to have the Rinnegan if that's okay with you still. I want to honor his father, and do what he wanted to do when he was alive. Naruto said getting a smile from the death god. Very well and the reasons for the Rinnegan are admirable. I hope you stay true to who you are Naruto Namikaze. Take care and when you're done I will come to bring you back. Good luck. The death god said as she tapped his forehead giving him the dojutsu. Naruto was given a lot of information that made him grab his head in pain with Kurama helping him by pushing his chakra to ease it, and when it was done, he got up and watched as he disappeared leaving the death god by herself. Good luck Naruto-kun, she said with a smile. Somewhere in Earthland, Naruto appeared through a small rift and landed on the ground. He looked around to see where he was, but nothing looked familiar which should be obvious. He decided to test his Rinnegan eyes and see what they looked like when he activated them. He closed his eyes for a moment, and then opened them to see that his eyes have changed from the violet ones to purple with rings on them with 1 tomo in each eye indicating the first stage of them out of 7 if what he had learned from the knowledge the Shinigami gave him he had a lot of work cut out for him. Well this is different. I can see much clearer than before it's like what people have said when they use the Sharingan how they can perceive things easier compared to others. But one thing I won't do is to rely on my eyes like most Uchiha do and use them as tools and not my main weapons. He said to himself. That's a good way to think. I'd hate for you to be like those bastards and their bastard eyes. You have your work cut out for you, but I'll be here to help you with that, and with other elements that since you had water and fire affinities, we can work on the other 3 more in the meantime. First thing is first we should find a town or something so we can find work to do. Maybe some bounty hunting we can do against the dark mages that Shinigami-sama mentioned to us. Kurama said. Naruto nodded in agreement. It would give us something to do in our travels and a way to make income of a sorts. You're not wrong about the dark mages. They sound like the missing means in our world, but from what I remember, killing is heavily disliked, which I can agree with since I don't like it myself, but we'll use it as a last result. Naruto said to his friend as the connection ended and began walking hopefully towards the town. 3 years later. It's been 3 years since the now 13-year-old came to Earthland, and life has been interesting for him. He's been making a name for himself and taking down dark guilds and mages when the Rune Knights weren't able to. He was being known as Elemental Master due to using more than one element. His training has been going well for the most part. He'd managed to master elemental manipulation training for lightning, but had been struggling with earth, and haven't started wind manipulation yet. His Rinnegan training had managed to get 2 more tomos, unlocking 2 more paths to his repertoire, with the paths being Deva Path, being the first one to unlock. He'd been able to use the Deva Path abilities within 10 seconds when first started learning how to use, but managed to get it down to 5 seconds. The Preta Path was next, which allowed him to absorb chakra in any form, and the same works for magic that he's come to find out. The last path he's unlocked so far is Human Path, allowing him to read people's minds when he places his hands on their heads and can take the souls from people, killing them immediately. His skills with Kenjutsu had gotten better as well when he would use a Tanto and began training with a katana like his mother used, but preferred to use a Tanto since he was most familiar with it. His biggest obstacle and success so far was working with Kurama's chakra, as he started working on it a year ago, and had managed to be able to get into the 3-tailed state without going crazy, and would use it as a last resort. Meditating helped overcome the hatred that came with using his chakra and was doing great so far. He had to try even more to keep his emotions in check, not to let his chakra take over when used, as it would do more harm than good if he would lose control. Now we find Naruto walking back to town from a job request that he had accomplished for the town. The job was to take out some demons created by the black wizard Zeref, who he found out was a terror to everyone. He was almost to town when he heard some crying that was nearby him, stopping him and following the crying, wondering who would be crying, and in the middle of the forest. When he found the source, it was a little girl who looked to be about 6 years old with short dark blue hair, as she wore a white shirt and blue shorts, who looked so lost and scared. He approached her carefully, not wanting to scare her any more than she already was. "Are you okay, little one?" he asked softly with a small smile, trying to assure her. "I am trying to find my mommy," she cried. "Who's your mommy, if I may ask?" "Maybe I can help you find her," Naruto said. "Her name is Grandini. I've been trying to find her a long time now, and I don't know where she could be," she said as she cried. Naruto moved closer and pulled her gently into a hug as she lost it completely and sobbed, getting his jacket wet, but he didn't care at the moment. "Sure. It's okay, little one. We'll find her. Can I know your name?" "I'm Naruto Namikaze," he introduced, smiling at her. "I am Wendy Marvel." "Fish cake?" she said, sniffling with a small giggle. "Wendy, huh? That's an adorable name, and no, it's supposed to mean maelstrom, but fish cake comes up more often than you think." He sighed, putting his head down in embarrassment. She blushed at the adorable compliment, but giggled at his reaction to fish cake. "Come on. Let's get going to town. You can tell me all about your mommy, and what she's like if we're going to find her," he said as she looked him with eyes wide. "Really?" she shouted in happiness as she jumped into his arms, giggling as he nearly fell over with him, laughing as well. "Of course. We should get going now," he said as he held her hand out, with her taking his in her own as they walked. 15 minutes later, they made to the town that Naruto was heading into, and they were getting a lot of looks of awe squeals from seeing the two together, with Naruto carrying Wendy on his back after she was tired from walking. "So Wendy-chan, what do you want to eat right now? There's a lot of places we can choose from," Naruto said, looking back at the tired girl as her stomach grumbled, making her blush in embarrassment. "Hi, big brother. Why don't we head over there?" she said, pointing at what looked like a ramen stand of all places, making him chuckle at her when he nodded. "Big brother, huh?" he asked with a chuckle. Sorry, Naruto-san," she said quietly, thinking he'd be mad at her for what she said. "No need to be sorry. I'd love to be your big brother." He smiled. "Yay!" she shouted as she hugged him even tighter, making him gasp a little in surprise. "Come on. Let's get some food and then we can start getting to know each other better," he said as they walked inside the ramen stand to eat. 2 years later. It's been 2 more years since Naruto and Wendy had met, and they couldn't be any happier. Naruto was not 15 years old, and had gotten to know her so much more and learned that she was a dragon slayer who was taught by her mother Grandini, who was a dragon. Wendy was now 8 years old and is more specifically the Sky Dragon Slayer. She's a healer and doesn't like to fight, but will if she needs to. Naruto has been helping her better what she does know with her practicing when able to. Her healing was similar to the mystical palm technique, so it was easy to help her practice when he would use it. He also started teaching her hand-to-hand combat in case someone ever got too close to her, and she had taken to using the hummingbird style like he knew. He could also use Kushina's style, the swirling fist. Naruto also helped her with her signature attacks pertaining to dragon slayers such as her Dragon's Roar, Sky Dragon Wing attack, a few others that she was taught briefly before Grandini disappeared. One thing that Naruto had come to know that completely surprised him was something he found out about Grandini. Flashback a year ago, Naruto was helping Wendy back to the hotel for the night after a tiring training exercise that he put Wendy through. He put her into bed for the night when he felt something with Wendy. Kit, do you feel that? There's something else in Wendy that feels similar to us. Kurama said, catching Naruto off guard with this. What do you mean? Are you saying that Wendy is a Jinchuriki like me? Biju don't exist here though, so how would that be possible? Naruto asked through their link. I'm not sure, but try to go into her mindscape, we might be able to find something there and get some answers. Kurama said with Naruto agreeing. Naruto pressed his index finger to her forehead as he focused into her mindscape. Wendy's mindscape. Naruto looked around where he was and couldn't help but be curious about it. So this is what it feels like being in someone else's mindscape aside from my own. It feels strange. He mused to himself. So I get to meet the one who's been looking after dear little Wendy. A voice said, getting Naruto's attention, and when he turned around he saw what seemed unreal to him. It was an actual dragon that he'd heard that lived years and years ago, but he still couldn't believe it since he'd never seen one before. He shouldn't be so surprised since he has Kurama sealed in himself. You must be Grandini. I knew I sensed something, but I still can't believe that someone would think to do something similar to me. Naruto said. Yes, I am Grandini. It's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto-kun. I want to thank you for everything you've done for Wendy. She's had a hard life and I couldn't be any happier now that she has you in her life. What do you mean similar to you? She asked. He would be referring to me, Grandini. A voice said that Naruto recognized. Look who decided to show up. Baka Kitsune. Naruto stated with a smirk before he was hit by one of Kurama's tails, making crash into the ground. Shut the hell up, Kit. It's a pleasure to meet you, Grandini. I'm Kurama, the nine-tailed fox. What my host is referring to is I'm sealed into this young man here, Kurama said, pointing at Naruto with one of his tails. I see. Was yours voluntary or was it forced? Because when I sealed myself into Wendy it was to prevent certain situations from happening, she said, getting confused looks from Naruto and Kurama. What I mean is I sealed myself in Wendy to prevent her from turning into a dragon. It's a long story to explain, but in her is what is called a dragon seed, and if it fully broke she would turn into a dragon, but I've been trying to destroy the seed so it wouldn't happen. She said. You did this to help Wendy then? Well, that's better than the alternative. It's similar to when a Jinchuriki turns into their respective Biju, except it's more controlled, I'd imagine. What would happen if Wendy did turn into a dragon? Naruto asked. She'd go berserk from it. She wouldn't be able to tell friend from enemy, and that is why I am here now to make that doesn't happen. How has my sweet little Wendy been recently? She asked with a motherly voice. She's wonderful to have and has brought a light to me that I have missed a lot. I'll always be there for Wendy-chan. She's my sweet little sister, and I'll do anything to protect her. He stated, getting a smile from the dragon. That's good to hear. I'm grateful for everything you've done for her. What are you going to do now knowing that I'm here with Wendy wondering where I am? She asked. I'd like to tell her, but I get the feeling that you don't want her to know, or at least not yet. Is that it? Naruto asked. Quite the observant one you are, young one. You're right. I don't want her to know yet. She's not ready right now, but will be in years to come, she said, seeing him nod in understanding. I can respect that decision and I will make sure she is ready for everything. You have my word. Naruto promised with a grin, making her and Kurama chuckle at him. Thank you again. Take good care of her. She said. Of course. Don't have to tell me twice. I need to get going now for the night. It was nice to meet you, Grandini-chan. Take care of yourself in here, Naruto said as he waved and disappeared from her mindscape. End of flashback. It had been an interesting experience to meet her, or any dragon for that matter, but she was so gentle and nice, like a mother would for her child. The last thing that happened for the two was that Wendy had found an egg that contained a white cat that could talk, but it wasn't too crazy for him. Wendy named her Carla, and she at first didn't like Naruto, but he grew on her and always was there for them like a big brother. Even she had started calling him that, which Naruto was completely fine with. It made him happy that she felt the same way as Wendy did. Naruto had explained his origins and how he ended up in Earthland. Safe to say, Carla was a little skeptical at first, but considered what he could do and that she couldn't sense any magic from him at all made her accept it. Wendy cried into his chest, feeling sorry for her big brother having to be away from his family, but was surprised when he told her that she could become an official Uzumaki, or a Namikaze of the family. But she wanted to be a Namikaze like Naruto, making Naruto hug her and kiss her forehead, making her blush at the gesture and embarrassment. Naruto is the heir to the Namikaze clan and his sister Mito is the Uzumaki heir, since she had more Uzumaki in her than he did, and was happy for her. This is what the death god had told him in one of his letters when checked on his family without them knowing and overhearing what they had planned. Now we find the three of them in Magnolia Town after completing a job that had taken Naruto away for 2 weeks, leaving the girls alone for that time. It made him nervous being gone for that long. Big brother Naruto. What are we going to do now that the job is done? Wendy asked. We're going to stay here for a bit. There's a lot to see and I was thinking that maybe we should consider joining a guild, Naruto stated, getting different looks from the blue-haired girl and white cat. Really? That would be amazing. Which one do you have in mind, big brother? She asked quickly. Carla was more reserved on the matter as she was contemplating the idea. I don't want to join Blue Pegasus since I've met some of their members and they creeped me out. He shivered at the memory of meeting Uchiha and his band of stooges. What brought this on all of a sudden? Carla asked. Truthfully, I'm being gone for days or weeks at a time for jobs when there's no one to look after you too, and I don't want to bring you yet, or at all on those kinds of jobs if possible. If we join a guild we won't be alone and can be a part of something. Naruto answered. I can understand that. What about Lamia Scale? Carla asked after thinking about it. True, but they don't really catch my attention. He answered, getting a deadpan look from Carla. Oh, don't give me that look. I just don't want to work as hard as I would there, and have to rely on us to do mission requests, and whatnot. Phantom Lord is a big no. I've heard about the guild master, and he treats his members like pawns and is obsessed with being the best, and would do absolutely anything to do it. What about Fairy Tail? He asked as the last one came to mind. Oh, I've heard all about them. They are so fun from what I hear and care about each other like family. Wendy stated excitedly. They also tend to be destructive in the jobs. It might not be so safe for us to go there. Carla responded nervously. Tell you what, why don't we go visit them and meet the guild master to see if it would be a good fit for us? Know that no matter what choice we make with them or any guild, I'll always put you two above anything else. Naruto smiled as they hugged him and nodded, knowing their next destination. Well, here we are, you two ready to see what the place will be like? Naruto asked, getting nods from the two. They pushed the door, and what they found was nothing but chaos. The guild was in an uproar with a fight going on with the members fighting each other. The strange thing was they could tell that there was no negative intentions from any of them. Hello? What brings you three kids here? Makarov asked curiously. I'm sorry. We were looking for a guild to join and we were in Magnolia already, so we thought we would stop by here. Naruto answered honestly. I'm Makarov Dreyer, the third guild master of Fairy Tail. Why would you want to join Fairy Tail if you were given the chance? He asked them. Well, I'd been taking jobs for the last 5 years and the last 2 years with my sisters here looking after them, but the jobs are taking me away from them longer than I'd like and I'm worried something might happen while I'm gone. I know they can take care of themselves, but I still worry is all. I also think they could make a lot of friends and make a home here, Naruto said, getting a small smile from the elderly man. Can I get your names? These two are Wendy Namikaze, Carla Uzumaki, and I'm Naruto Namikaze. He introduced, getting silence from him and the others when they heard his name. You're the elemental master? It said you can use multiple elements, and have been taking jobs up to A class and some close to S class. You're what, 15? Makarov shouted in disbelief. That's right. I can use multiple elements due to training in them. I prefer water, fire, and lightning to use though really. I am 15 years old, Naruto answered, confused on it. You're welcome to join if you want. We'd be happy to have 3 new family members to our guild, Makarov said. Naruto looked at the 2 girls, with them being happy to join. Where do we go to get our stamps? Naruto asked. Follow me, you 3. The guild master said as they followed him, with everyone watching them closely. I can't believe it. That's the elemental master. If he's as talented and strong as I've heard, then things will be getting even more interesting than they are already. Someone said. I want to fight him if he's as strong as I hear. A pink-haired kid said. Please, like you'd stand a chance against him. You'd lose within seconds. I'd have a better chance at him than you, Pinky. A raven-haired shirtless boy said. What did you say, Ice Princess? He shouted. I said you'd lose immediately. Are you deaf, Fire Breath? He shouted back. Popsicle, Fire Boy, will you two shut up? A red-headed woman said, hitting them both in the heads, crashing down into the ground unconscious. There they go again. A random mage said, amused. She reminds me of Mom when Jiraiya, Dad, or Kakashi did something perverted or stupid. He thought, a little scared. But damn, her hair is beautiful. He thought. Where do you want your guild marks? Makarov asked. I'll take mine on my left shoulder. Wendy said. Mine on my back, please. Carla politely answered. Right bicep if you can master. Naruto said with a grin. All right. There we go. Welcome to Fairy Tail. Makarov shouted with a grin, getting cheers from everyone else. Naruto, Wendy, and Carla hadn't been interacting as much with Naruto, wanting to stay close to the girls so they don't feel too claustrophobic with them being kids still, and being surrounded by so many people at once won't help them as much. Naruto was watching them interact with a few that were closer to their age than the adults, who would spare glances at him, with many of the females blushing at seeing him. I can tell you really care for those two, don't you, my boy? Makarov asked as he approached him with his beer. I do. They're 2 of the most important people in my life. They have brought me so much light and happiness since I met them, and I couldn't have been any happier. I trust you and everyone here to look after them when I'm out on jobs that would take period of times. Naruto said. They'll be well looked out for, my boy, I can assure you. But you assume you'll be on jobs a lot with how you're talking. Makarov said. I want to be able to provide for them and them to make friends. If I'm not here as much with them, it'll give them the chance to mingle with the other members, Naruto said with a smile, making Makarov nod, but frown at his words. He's so mature for his age. What kind of life did you have beforehand for you to be acting twice your age? He thought sadly. Before he could say anything, a voice caught their attention. Hey Blondie! I want to fight you. You're supposed to be strong, but I don't believe it, and so I challenge you. This is supposed to be a party, Mira. Makarov said at her antics of wanting to fight people. Naruto then got an idea and would thank Kakashi for this someday. Did you say something? He asked while turning towards her, and nearly choked at who he saw. It was a young woman around his age. She had white hair that was tied in a ponytail using a purple ribbon. She had memorizing dark blue eyes that he could get lost in. She wore a somewhat revealing goth look. She wore a black shirt that showed off her stomach. She had wide hips, beautiful breasts that were easily CC cup sized. She wore black shorts that went down to her thigh only, socks that went to her thigh with black shoes. All in all, she was a goddess, much like the redhead he saw earlier. Why you? She shouted, going for a punch when he ducked under it, grabbed her wrist, twirled it behind her, keeping her in place. Now that was simply rude. I was enjoying my drink too. He smirked, seeing her blush in anger at being handled so easily. He let her go, but not before smacking her ass, making her eep, making her blush even more. Rather, it was in anger or embarrassment, she didn't know. You're so dead, she shouted, chasing him. You and me outside then, miss, Naruto said, making her smirk at the chance to show him that she's stronger than him. Alright, you two, will meet you there, Makarov said, then looking towards everyone. Everyone outside, we got a match to see. Naruto versus Mirajane, he shouted as everyone rushed outside to see the match. Man, this is going to be exciting. I want to see what the new guy can do, the pink-haired teen said with the blue cat following. The blue cat responded. I'm quite curious myself to see what he can do. I don't think he can be at Mira though. She's one of the strongest in the guild, the shirtless teen said. Outside, Naruto and Mira stood across from each other, as they inspected each other, ready for the match to start, as everyone was gathering around with one collecting bets. Place your bets, people. We have Mira the She-Devil versus Naruto the Elemental Master. This is bound to be a good match, she said. She had brown hair that was tied in a ponytail, beautiful chocolate eyes. She wore a turquoise bikini that exposed much of her cleavage that was a little smaller than Mira's. He guessed it was a low C cup. She wore brown jeans and sandals to finish the outfit. Majority of the people were betting on Mira, which Naruto didn't mind, as it would be hilarious to see the reactions of everyone to see him win. He noticed a few did bet on him, making him smile that there were some that believed in him despite not knowing his skills. The redhead being one of them, along with the brunette, and the brunette were the only two who voted for him. The other was a young woman who was 2 years younger than him. She was a petite young woman with A-cup breasts, but had wider hips make up for it. She had beautiful blue hair that had a red headband in it. She had the same chocolate eyes like the brunette from before. She was wearing an orange shirt that with black leggings with boots to finish the look. Alright. All the bets are in. Ready when you are, master, the brunette shouted. Alright, you two. This is just a simple spar, no serious injuring, am I understood? He asked seriously, getting nods from them as he brought his hand up. Begin, he said, starting the match. Satan's soul, Mira shouted. Her body changed into something else. Her hair was up in the air and more wild than before. Wings were formed behind her, extending out. Scale-like arms appeared on her arms with glove-like for the wrists and hands, and a tail appeared behind her. Her outfit consisted of a dark, skimpy one-piece suit, which revealed her arms and legs and was open on the front and the back, exposing most of her belly and wide cleavage. She wore high-heeled thigh-high boots, which are decorated by lighter motifs on the upper parts, taking on shapes of jagged blades pointing downwards on the front of her legs and on the lower parts, along with her ankles and feet. Well, didn't see that coming, he mused. So she has a demon in her like me, except it's different. Should be interesting. I wonder what this type of magic is called, he asked himself. Kit, you should get back to the fight. She's going on the offensive now, Kurama shouted at his host, getting his attention with him nodding. Mira immediately took action and charged at him, wanting to get the first hit, but was more cautious this time around. When she reached him, she sent a punch to where his cheek is, but Naruto moved body to the side to avoid it when Mira smirked, and used her leg to kick him in the stomach, which connected, sending him skidding back several feet. Wow. Not bad. So a demon, huh? Similar yet different at the same time, he said, making her get surprised at him knowing that, and catching her interest at what he could mean. What does he mean? Whatever, I'll figure it out later. For now I gotta show him his place, she said mentally. Naruto goes on the offensive this time and leans in with a punch to the stomach, and she goes to block it, but it's surprised with a feint, and his other fist connects with her cheek, giving the same result for her as for him, making them smirk at each other. Better than I thought. Let's see how you handle this, she shouted. Soul extinction. A beam of energy is shot from her hands as it approached Naruto, went through hand signs and slammed into the ground. Earth release, earth wall. A giant wall of earth rose up in time for the blast to make contact with it to stop the attack from connecting with him. Out of nowhere they heard him say, fire style, fireball jutsu. A fireball the size of her was sent towards her, making her fly into the sky using her wings, making her sweat a little from the heat of the attack. Wow! If that had hit, I'd have some burns that would last for days or weeks. He can use earth and fire magic after all. From what I had heard, he mainly uses lightning, fire, and water magics though, so earth and wind must be his weaker elements if he is able to use wind like earth, she deduced to herself. She didn't have time to further think about it, as she saw standing to where she was standing previously. Seeing his smirk pissed her off, but was surprised to see a change in his eyes from their violet color to purple rings with what looked like 5 tomos. What really surprised him though, was him beginning to levitate until they were facing each other. You're not the only one who can take to the sky. So this is the she-devil I've heard about. Pretty powerful if I say so myself, but you're not the only one who is full of surprises, he said. He held out his hand. Universal pull. She was pulled by an unknown sources until she was in range as he went for a punch to the face, but was able to dodge it just in time for her to elbow him in the stomach, which he blocked with his other hand. They traded blows for a number of minutes with both sides taking some hits, surprising everyone watching that he was actually able to hit her. How is he keeping up with Mira? She's crazy strong already, and for him to keep up like that is terrifying. The pink-haired teen shouted in awe and a little fear. I know, right? Mira is one of the strongest as it is, and for him to even hit her is incredible. The now shirtless and pantsless teen said, I'm honestly not surprised in the slightest. Makarov said, getting multiple people's attention. Why can't I sense any magic from him? It's like he's using something else to fight? He asked himself. What do you mean, Gramps? The pink-haired teen asked. Well, Natsu, from what I could tell, he's been taking high A-class jobs and some S-class ones as well, so it shouldn't be surprising to see him keep up with her. I was however not expecting him to be able to use more than one element like he did, which is hard to learn, but makes you wonder how he did it so fast considering it takes years to learn one element by itself. He deduced, making others nod and others in awe and slight jealousy. I want to fight him now. Natsu shouted in excitement. You wouldn't even last a minute against this guy, Flamehead. The near clothless teen said smugly. What was that, stripper? Natsu shouted in anger, glaring at him. You heard me, Gray Natsu. Shut up. The redhead said in annoyance, glaring at the two, making them sweat and cower in fear. Yes. Sorry, Urza. The duo said at the same time, with others chuckling at their antics. Back to the fight, we see the two fighters being separated, as you could see bruises or scrapes from them, as it was obvious that they had been trading hits for some time, making them looking tired and worse for wear. What do you say we go for one last attack, eh? I never did get your name, Naruto said with a grin. Mirajane Strauss, the strongest female in Fairy Tail, she said, panting a little. Well, Mirajane, a pleasure to meet you. Naruto Namikaze, he introduced. He fell back into his stance, with Mira doing the same as they went for one final punch, as she was slightly faster, with her slugging him in the face, flying into the ground, expecting an impact, but wasn't expecting it to go up in a puff of smoke as she felt someone behind her with their hand on her neck. It's over, Mirajane, Naruto said with a grin. How? She asked him. Shadow clone. Gotta love them. I created him and switched places with him at the last second with enough time to get behind you like how I am now. Naruto explained. That was good. You beat me, she said begrudgingly. Hey, don't be like that, you did really good. There have been only a small handful of people who could push me like that, and you still have many years ahead of you. You'll be even more of a monster in the field. He grinned, making her blush a little at the compliment. Now that I look at him, he's quite cute and strong too, she said, mentally blushing, having gotten a good look at him and liked what she saw, but she wasn't the only one thinking the same thing. You were good yourself. You're pretty cute now I got a good look at you. I think we'll get along just fine. She grinned mischievously, making him blush back. Everyone approached, with only 3 of them in higher spirits due to winnings the bets, with others feeling more depressed, and Makarov impressed with the boy. Great match, you two. You put on quite the show for us. Your title is well earned in skill in using multiple elements, my boy, Makarov said, making him smile. Thanks, old man, he said, making him face fault at the nickname. Brats, he muttered to himself. Natsu then remembered how his eyes changed color. What happened to your eyes? He asked, getting everyone's attention. It's something called the Rinnegan. It provides with multiple abilities which I won't go into as it would take too long to do. I still have a long way to go till I have them mastered, Naruto replied, getting a nod from him. Fight me, he shouted at the blonde as he charged him with his fists, encasing in flames. That's enough, Natsu, Urza said, knocking him down, hitting him in the head, knocking him unconscious. That was quite the battle, Naruto. It's impressive to go against someone like Mira, even if she's not S-class yet, Urza said with a smirk, looking at the mentioned girl who gritted her teeth. Oh yeah. Armor girl. Bring it. I'll show you who's S-class material, Mira shouted as they butted heads, pushing each other back and forth. Is that normal for them? Naruto whispered to Makarov, who nodded with a sigh. Unfortunately it is. They've been like this ever since they met, and I don't even know how it happened. He chuckled. Naruto's sweat dropped at the comment before he turned serious. Oh shit. Well, I've seen this kind of thing happen a lot with many of my old friends. Speaking of which, I have something I need to discuss with you about, Master. It's important, and believe me when I say how crazy it will sound. Of course, my boy. We'll head into my office where we can talk about it," he said as they went to his office. "What do you think of the guild so far?" the old man asked. "It's interesting to say the least, and seems like it's never boring around here." The blonde mused out loud. Makarov chuckled, knowing how true that statement was for him. Too true. "Well, we can discuss everything in here that you want to tell me," Makarov said as they walked into the office. "I think me and the girls, we like it here. Feels like home already," he mused mentally as he followed into the office. Chapter 2, The Return. It's been 7 years since Naruto had joined Fairy Tail along with Wendy and Carla, and it had been some of the best times of his life. Since he had joined, he had met a lot people, some to become his best friends and others who'd become much more. In the first few months, he went on missions that were A-class with Mira and Urza. He enjoyed their company and loved how strong-willed they were, not wanting to let someone down. Mira was more wild and wasn't afraid to take risks. She'd flirt with him, making Urza annoyed since she had started liking him, with Mira knowing this since she also liked him. They were impressed with his strength and grew to know how kind he was, especially when it came to Wendy and Carla. They admired how he would put them above everything else, including himself. Naruto grew feelings for them, but could never choose one over the other, so they confronted him, or rather cornered him, told him it was okay to date the both of them. What they didn't expect was for him to kiss the both of them, causing them to blush, matching Urza's hair, but returned it with happiness. 2 years later went by, and Naruto couldn't have been happier with how it was going for the blonde. He had started teaching Wendy how to use the Rasengan, except it was in magic instead of chakra. But they two sources are close enough to where she can recreate it. She surprised him when he learned it in a month, making him so proud of his little sister, who knew would make their parents proud in learning a family technique. His relationship with Mira and Urza had grown exponentially with getting to know each other a lot more. He told him about his home dimension and family, what he did to protect them, making them admire him that much more for his sacrifice, but were glad he did, otherwise he wouldn't be there or met them. He also allowed them to meet Kurama, but was surprised the girls weren't as afraid of him as he expected when they were making conversation with him like nothing. When he first started talking to him, he was making snark comments and light threats to eat him, or something along those lines, making him cry in a corner, claiming how unfair life is. They accepted everything that he told them, but made one request, that when he'd go back, that they would be able to go with him, as they wouldn't want to be without him, which he accepted begrudgingly, not wanting to argue with them, knowing he'd lose the fight. One thing that had happened was when he was studying runes, he found someone else studying the same art, and found himself asking her questions about it whenever he'd need help, and she'd spend hours at a time helping him understand something he'd be stuck on. He found her name to be Levi McGarden, who was 2 years younger than him, but she had one of the brightest minds he'd ever met that could match his father. He wondered how she'd do in learning about seals, knowing how similar they are. She showed him one of his tri-pronged kunais to let her examine the seal on the handle, and she was fascinated with it, and wanted to learn more about the art. Along with it, she could reciprocate the seal in runes. They bonded over the art for 5 months, and would lead to them talking for hours about many things, catching her, and would notice her glancing at him with a longing smile and a small blush, getting the attention of Mira and Urza, making them smirk, knowing what was going on. The two went and talked to her about it, making her jaw drop at what she was being told, but blushed knowing she'd been caught. But instead of getting mad, they told her it was okay to pursue him if given the chance, which she answered by hugging them with a big smile on her face. When she confronted him on it, he had accepted her and told her that she'd never have to be scared of being left out or put any girl above the other. One thing that did occur though during the 2 years that changed things was the death of Lisana, who is Myra's little sister. They were out on a job request when she died, when their brother Elfman attempted a full-body takeover, making him go berserk. Naruto got there in time to see Lisana getting hit by his claw, knocking her down. Naruto ended up knocking him out with a giant Rasengan, with Elfman turning back to normal as he watched Mira cradle her as she disappeared, making him suspicious about the whole thing, but he comforted his girlfriend with how troubled she looked. It took weeks to help her get back on her feet, but Mira had decided she didn't want to take missions anymore, and became a barmaid. Along with the change with herself, she became more mellowed out and also became a model. A year later, when Naruto was returning from a job, he wasn't alone, as he brought back a young woman who was their age. She was a slim, large-busted woman, with long, straight black hair that fell to the middle of her back like with Urza. Her hair was cut in the traditional Japanese princess style. Her name was Kagura Mikazuchi. She was a lot like Urza with how serious and reserved she was, and would only talk to Naruto and Makarov for a period of time until she slowly made friends with the others his age, like Urza, Mira, Natsu, Gray, who she had tolerated, but berated when the two boys would do something stupid, Kana, Levi, and Wendy, but didn't take long for her to enjoy their companies, especially Wendy, Urza, Mira, and Levi. She found out that Naruto was also a swordsman to a degree and wanted to see how good she was with it, and she wasn't disappointed with his skills with the tanto. She appreciated his skills with it, along with him wanting to help her find her brother. It was one of the reasons as to why she joined the guild, as whenever they had a clue on her brother, they could go together. The longer she spent with him, she would get this strange feeling in her chest that she didn't know what it was. She would feel happier whenever she was near him. Months later of having this feeling, decided to talk to Mira, Urza, and Levi about it, since they would be able to help her. When she brought this to their attention, they knew what it was, but were happy to potentially have another sister. They didn't blame Naruto for getting attention from other females since he's just an amazing man who loves them. After some time of them talking to her and Kagura coming to terms with her feelings for the blonde, she spoke to him about it, and he accepted her feelings, but wanted to go on a few dates before they did anything else. It's safe to say that they enjoyed each other's company in and outside of missions, and the dates made it that much better. She wasn't the only who got her attention. There was another who had gotten his interest. She was one of the few who bet for Naruto when he first joined. Her name was Kana Alberona. They were some of the best of friends after some time of getting to know each other over the last few years, but over time that feeling changed to something else. She realized that she loved the blonde knucklehead. She couldn't ever say anything without risk of ruining their friendship, but after seeing how happy Mira and the other girls were with him, she decided she wanted to risk it to be happy like them. The girls knew of this, but wanted her to make the move to talk to them about it, and they'd accepted knowing how close they were since they met. It didn't take long for her to talk to them, and when she confronted Naruto about it, he revealed to have had feelings for her as well, but didn't want to say anything for the same fear as her, along with wanting to get the okay from his other girlfriends. Safe to say she was ecstatic, and had tears of joy to be with the man she cared deeply for. Not a lot had happened regarding the rest of the year except for Naruto officially becoming an S-class mage, and his training had been improving. He finally was able to finish mastering his Rinnegan abilities, being able to use all of the paths. He was able to reduce the time between techniques involving his gravity abilities to 3 seconds apart. His elemental training had been going well too, with the exception of wind being the hardest get down, only being able to get down 2 of the first stages of the elemental manipulation of the element. The last thing that he worked on was Kurama's chakra. As of now, he could use 6 tails without going berserk. Another year had gone by without much happening until someone had joined the guild. She has brown eyes and shoulder-length blonde hair that she usually tied by ribbons in a small ponytail to the right side of her head. She had an amazing bust that matched Urza's, Mira's, Kana's and Kagura's. She was shyer than most, but very friendly. She became fast friends with Levi when they bonded over Lucy wanting to be a writer. That caught his attention, as you don't meet many people who'd rather be a writer than a mage. He wanted to learn more about her, and they became fast friends as well, and found out that she used celestial spirits for her magic and didn't have much else to fight on. She started teaching her more how to protect herself if her spirits couldn't do as much. He taught her the basics, and enjoyed their talks together. Things got worse when Phantom Lord attacked the Guildhall, who was a rival to Fairy Tail. When that didn't work, they decided to send the same person who attacked a group that were heading back into town, who consisted of Droy, Jet, and Levi. The following morning, seeing them hung up like that made everyone upset, but none more than Makarov and Naruto, who were glowing white and blue/red. Naruto hadn't been so angry in his whole life. Seeing his Levi hurt and treated like that made him so angry when he flared his chakra. Kurama's chakra was mixed in with his, as his eyes changes from their violet to red with slits on them, making the ground beneath him crack. They went over to where Phantom Lord was and engaged them, not realizing that Lucy had been kidnapped, with Makarov getting his magic drained by one of the Elemental Four. Naruto rescued Lucy from where she was being held, and she hadn't been so scared in her life. Lucy went on to tell them what her last name was, and it meant nothing to them, especially Lucy, because he understands what that life is like considering who his parents are. He told her that she is still the same Lucy as before and didn't care about what her last name was. It touched her for him to say that, and everyone else in the guild. Afterwards they attacked Fairy Tail, but Urza with the help of Naruto was able to repel the Jupiter cannon. Jose tried intimidating to get Lucy back, but no one was listening and threw insults at him, with Naruto's being one that caught her off guard the most. She is some who is important and precious to me. I'll die before she goes to you, he shouted, making her cry and smile at him and the others. After the whole idea with Phantom Lord, they ended up being disbanded when the investigation led to Phantom Lord starting everything and trying to kill everyone in Magnolia Town. Lucy wanted to be closer to Naruto, feeling safer with him, and he could understand where she was coming from. It happened with his mom when she was younger, when she was kidnapped by Kumo. After spending much time together, they had started to develop feelings for each other, and Lucy knew that he was dating others already, but wouldn't let him go, so she went and talked to the girls to get their permission to be with him. It didn't take long for her to be accepted to join their loving family. She was so excited that she kissed Naruto on the lips that turned into a makeout session. When it was finished, she was blushing in both arousal and embarrassment, since it happened in public. They went on many adventures after the Phantom Lord incident involving Urza's past, involving the Tower of Heaven, Laxus trying to take over Fairy Tail during the festival, destroying Nirvana, Idolos, which was an emotional experience for Naruto and Mira when they found out Lisana was alive and now their family was completed again. Then there was the S-class trials, where the group that went there were encountered by Hades and his members. After that was when Acnologia came and gave everyone their troubles. When they were about to be killed, Naruto appeared via Haracian that Mira had thrown into the ground. Naruto got everyone out, or so he thought, and fought Acnologia himself, but the battle was fierce, with Acnologia being sent away from the island. Everyone that was there searched the island, where they found Naruto unconscious and bleeding from his wounds. When they got back, not wanting to have any regrets, Naruto proposed to Mira, Urza, Levi, Kagura, Kana, and Lucy, which they accepted wholeheartedly, and 4 months later they were married and had their honeymoon. 3 years later we find Naruto and Natsu heading back to the guild after finally dealing with Zeref and giving him the peace he wanted. It was hard for Natsu with finding out that the immortal black wizard was his brother, but grew to care for him despite being enemies and finding out how much Zeref loved his brother. It had been a long walk back to Acnologia and had made back to town finally. It's finally done, Natsu. I am sorry for your loss though and for what you had to go through. Naruto apologized, putting a hand on his shoulder. I know, man, and thanks. Now that it's done. What's going to happen now? I mean, I remember you telling me about your old home, and what the Shinigami told you, and now that you've done what she's wanted. He said. Well, I'll be getting contacted by her, and then she'll let me know when she'll take us back. Naruto said as he frowned, knowing what this would mean. It'll be goodbye, won't it? Natsu asked, frowning. I suppose so, but it won't be the end. You're like a brother to me ever since we met. We'll meet again despite me leaving sometime soon. Naruto said. Not long after he said that a being appeared before them, with Naruto recognizing her and got down on one knee, with Natsu confused but saw Naruto ushering him to do the same, so he followed his lead. Shinigami-sama. It's great to see you again. Is it about time now if you're here? Naruto asked, raising his head to meet the deity's eyes. Yes, Naruto-kun. You've done great and completed your mission along with your friend here, and I appreciate everything you've done. I'm here to let you know that it's almost time for you to go back, but you won't be alone. I've been watching and I know you got 2 adopted sisters and got married along with them, planning to join you. Right? She asked. Yes. They want to come back with me and to see what Konoha is like in my family. I wouldn't be able to leave them behind anyway, even if you told me to. I'd say no and not leave them alone. They're my everything and I refuse not to be a part of their lives. Naruto answered with determination, making the death god chuckle. Relax, Naruto-kun. I hadn't planned on separating you from each other. I owe you that much since you did so much for me already. She said, getting a nod from the blonde. Will we ever be able to come back, or is it a one-way trip still? Naruto asked nervously. No, it's not a one-way trip. I won't be transporting you back and forth though. You do know that your Rinnegan allows you to open portals, right? You can come back and visit on occasion. She mused, seeing his face gaping like a fish. I completely forgot about that. This will be great news to tell everyone and make saying goodbye much easier to do. I'll make sure to let them know. When do you plan on taking us back? He asked. A week from today. I'll be picking you up at Fairy Tail, so make sure you've done everything you'll need to do by that time and said your goodbyes by then. She answered, disappearing, leaving the 2 alone. Well, shit. We better get going so we can explain what just happened and what to expect now. Natsu said somberly, not looking forward to his brother in all but blood leaving along with several of his friends. Fairy Tail Guild Hall. Everyone was celebrating after hearing about the defeat of Zeref, and everyone could finally be at peace again. It had been a long war between the Alvarez Empire and Ishgar. They were able to win in the end and now don't have to worry about it again. I can't believe it's finally over. It's hard to believe that we don't have to worry about them anymore. I still can't believe that Zeref and Natsu were actually siblings this whole time. Lucy said. I know. I wonder how Natsu-kun is doing, having to deal with his brother. Lisana frowned, worrying about her boyfriend. He'll be okay. He has Naruto-kun with him after all. He's been looking out for him for years now. Kana said, sipping her beer. Naruto and Natsu rushed in with concern on their faces, quickly approaching Makarov. Gramps? We need to talk. It's very important. Natsu said, quickly getting everyone's attention. We can take it to my office then, but can it wait until after the party? Makarov asked, not wanting to leave the party. No. We were visited by the person who brought me here 12 years ago. Naruto said, getting widened eyes from him and others who heard him. So, it's about time then, huh? When did she say she was going to be coming back, and where would she be picking you up at? He asked, sadly narrowing his eyes. A week from today, and here at the guild hall. And apparently she knew that I wouldn't be going back alone. Naruto said, gesturing to his girls. Well, we'll have to make the most of it, won't we, my boy? Now we really need to party. He shouted, getting cheers from everyone, but not from some of them who grew solemn. Sure, Gramps. I'm gonna go talk to them about it now. I also want to talk to you and Lisana as well, Naruto said, looking at the pink-haired teen, getting a raised eyebrow from him. Naruto and Natsu walked over the table where everyone was as they were talking. Is it true, big brother? Is it time for you to go? Lisana asked, getting teary-eyed and lips quivering. It is, little sis. I'm sorry to tell you. I actually wanted to talk to you and Natsu regarding it. The Shinigami already knew that Mira, Urza, Kana, Levi, Kagura, Lucy, Wendy, and Carla were going with me when she came to pick me up and was okay with it. Naruto said, getting surprised looks from him, getting a confused one from him. What? Did you really think I'd leave any of you behind? I'd fight the Shinigami on it if she tried taking me away from my girls. Not only that, but my babies, and who's expecting? He said, seeing how some of them were holding bundles as others had baby bumps. Yes, Naruto has kids with Mira, Urza, Kana, and Kagura. Levi and Lucy were both pregnant, and expecting, making them all one happy family. Naruto's and Myra's kid was a girl who had Myra's white hair with Naruto's blue eyes and tan skin, whose name was Lily. Kana was holding a brown-haired baby girl who had brown hair with brown eyes, but had Naruto's round face and skin color. This was Cornelia, who was named after her mother. Urza was holding a baby girl who had Urza's red hair that was spiky like Naruto's, who had blue eyes like him, but Urza's face shape and color, who was named Irene after her mother. Kagura was holding a blonde-haired baby girl who had Kagura's chocolate eyes, and Naruto's round face and her skin color, who was named Tsunade after Naruto's godmother. I'm not surprised you do something like that. You are a baka after all. Kana smirked. But he's our baka. Levi said, kissing his cheek, making him smile and pull her closer, making sure not to hurt her or make her uncomfortable. I actually wanted to ask you two something rather important. He said, looking at Natsu, Lisana, and Happy. What is it, bro? Natsu asked. Would you three want to go with us? Naruto asked. The table was silent, with the three mentioned were surprised by the question, not expecting anything of the sort. We're like brothers, Natsu. You really think I'd leave you like that without giving you an option to go with us? Naruto smirked, then looked at Lisana, who was holding Happy. I also know how much closer you've gotten to Mira along with Lily. I wouldn't want to separate her from her aunt after all. He smiled, seeing her nod at that. Natsu and Lisana moved to another area, talk for a few minutes without being disturbed, coming up with the pros and cons of whether to go with them, or not, until they have an answer. They eventually came back with smiles on their faces, holding hand in hand, making them raise their eyebrows with some suspicion. After talking about it, we decided to accept your offer. I want to see what my brother's home village is like, and I want to meet the parents of the greatest brother I could have ever asked for. Natsu said with a wide grin, with Naruto matching it and giving him a handshake. I couldn't leave my sister and my niece knowing I'd miss them too much. Elfman has been hanging out with Evergreen more often, and he'll be okay with this. Lisana. Besides, it's not like we won't ever be back. I learned something about my Rinnegan that I never noticed before. I can open portals, but it takes a lot of chakra to do it, Naruto said. Well, we should enjoy the party, and we can worry about everything else starting tomorrow, Mira said with a nod from everyone else as they rejoined the party with laughs and fights going on. But no one would dare getting too crazy, risk of the babies getting hurt, or any of his wives, or they'd be signing their death warrants. A week later, it was a long and sad week for Fairy Tail and others that knew Naruto, and the others would be leaving, and some tried to convince him to stay. But it was time for him to go back to his old home. He reassured them they'd visit when they'd be able to. The ones who took it the hardest were Master Makarov, Gildarts, who considered Naruto a rival and a son, Gray, Elfman, Jet, Droid, Levi's case, Freed. After the Magnolia Festival they became great friends and would talk about runes and seals often. Poorly Yusuka, if she didn't admit it. She loved it when Naruto would visit, as he wasn't like anyone else, Mikao, and Wakaba. Well, this is it, Gramps. Thank you for taking me and my two sisters in all those years ago. I'll miss those drinks we'd have, eh? Naruto smirked as Makarov nodded, tearing up. I'll miss you, my boy. You were such a wonderful member here and will always be welcome here whenever you and the others decide to visit us, he said as he grew and hugged his surrogate grandson. That was when a figure appeared, except she looked different this time than she usually would. She had black hair that flowed down her hair. She had easily DD-cup breasts with a slender build and wide hips. She had red eyes. She wore a revealing white and black kimono and a robe that went down to her ankles. Hello? Is everyone ready to go? She asked when she noticed everyone was gaping at the death god. What? Oh, come on, Naruto-kun, I do have other forms I can take. She mused. Sorry, Shinigami-sama. It's just different to see this form. But yes, we are ready to go. Naruto nodded. All right. I need you all to get closer to me and we can get going. I'll be taking you all to a place called the Land of Water. You'll see some familiar people there, Naruto-kun, but you'll have to find out who when you get there. She smirked, seeing him pout at not being told who. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you guys later. Naruto said as everyone said and waved their goodbyes as they disappeared. Land of Water. Everyone appeared on a road that would be near the town, a couple hours away from it. All right, everyone. We can head to Konoha from here, but from the looks, it's getting close to night, so I can make us a house for the night, Naruto said when he heard some shouting and swords grinding against each other. What was that? Lucy asked, worried. I'm not sure, Lucy-chan, but I'll go find out. But before that, wood release, 4-pillar house. A wooden house appeared from the ground, forming until it was the size of a 2-story one, making enough room for everyone. Go on in. I'll only be going to spectate and spy to see who's fighting. I'll be back soon. I promise. He promised his girls and gave each of them kisses and kissed each of his kids' foreheads, making them scrunch up with everyone cooing at the scene. Natsu and Wendy, I'm counting on you to watch everyone while I'm gone. I'll be right back, he said. You got it, bro. Natsu gave a thumbs up. Of course, big brother. The 15-year-old Wendy smiled in determination. Good. Thanks, you too, Naruto said as he shined out of sight. With the group, there was a group of 7 people who Naruto could see as he entered the scene, able to see 4 people in combat as 4 others who seemed to be protecting someone. Is that? He started to say as he recognized 2 of them immediately. One of them was a man who wore a Jonin flak jacket with a dark blue bodysuit and had spiky silver hair with a leaf headband on his head. But what got his attention was the one Sharingan in his left eye. The other person was a beautiful woman who also wore the same attire and flak jacket. She had red hair that was in a ponytail to not get in the way. She had violet eyes like his and the same round face as him. These two individuals were Kakashi Hatake and Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. His older brother figure, and his mother, who he hadn't seen in 12 years. He would have kept watching until he saw Kakashi get caught in a water prison by who looked like Zabuza, whom I haven't seen him in years either. I can't believe that Kakashi got caught like that. He's lost his touch, it seems. Well, better jump in to give a hand. Kakashi, run! This guy's too much for you. Get the bridge builder out of here. Kakashi yelled at his students. It's no use, Kakashi. They'll be dead before they can go anywhere. Zabuza smirked as he created some water clones to take on the group of genins. I don't think so. I'd prefer if you release my big brother from the prison, Zabuza. They heard someone say as he took out the water clones and appeared in front of them. He had blonde hair that went down his neck with 2 bangs framing his face like his father, and had 3 whisker marks on each cheek. He wore a black shirt with dark blue pants with a red spiral on his right arm indicating the Uzumaki insignia. Minato-sensei? Kakashi asked. Wrong, Kakashi. It's been a long time after all and I've changed. He smirked when he saw his eyes widen. And Naruto? He muttered to himself. Got it finally, Baka. I'm back finally, but we'll do the pleasantries later after we dealt with this guy. Naruto said looking at Zabuza. Who are you? You look like the 4th Hokage? He growled out. Oh come on, Zabuza. You don't remember me? I'm hurt. Who else aside from my mother, who else could take on the 7 swordsmen of the mist? He smirked when he saw him start to pale. And Naruto Namikaze? You're supposed to be dead. He shouted. Nah. I'm not dead at all. Just been gone for a long time, but I'm back now and you would be wise in letting him go. He said seriously at the end, emotionless. Naruto had his tanto out, and his tri-pronged kunai, and through it went past him as he disappeared in a red flash and reappeared with his tanto covered in lightning chakra. He swung it downward to cut him in half, but Zabuza let go of his jutsu to avoid the sword, releasing Kakashi and teleporting back to his original spot. Stay here, Kakashi. Let me finish this. I'll end it quickly. He stated as he activated his Rinnegan, getting a gasp from Kakashi. He turned towards Zabuza, who was charging him, and smirked, holding his hand up. Universal pull. He shouted. Zabuza felt a pull on him as he was pulled towards him as Naruto created a Rasengan, adding the fire element to it. Rasengan. Great flame Rasengan. He pushed the Rasengan into his stomach, adding more power to it with the fire element. With bandaged swordsman screamed in pain, sent flying into some trees when it exploded. Well, that should put him out for a while, don't you think? He asked with a smirk, deactivating his Rinnegan when he was embraced by spiky-haired man. It's good to see you again, little brother. Kakashi said as tears flowed down his eye. Where's Mom? I saw her with you, but not sure where she is now since I went to help you out. Let's go check on your students now, they seem to be shaking a bit, brother, Naruto said as they walked over to the group. When they approached the kids, there were 4 of them in total. One of them had long pink hair with green eyes, wearing a red kimono. She looked really thin, like she didn't eat a lot. The next person was a boy of the same age who looked really pale, and had black hair and black eyes. He wore a black shirt with a gray undershirt and black pants and umbu sandals with a clear fake smile. The next person had black hair that looked like a duck's but with onyx eyes, who was clearly an Uchiha. He wore a blue shirt with a gray undershirt and gray shorts with shinobi sandals. It was the last person who caught his attention the most. It was a young woman who had long red hair like his mother's that went down to her ankles, that was tied in a ponytail. She wore a mesh shirt with a black shirt and umbu pants and umbu combat boots. These are Mai and Kushina-sama's students. We have Sakura Harino, Sai, Sasuke Uchiha, and lastly Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. My cute little genins, this is, be big brother? Mito asked shyly with her bottom lip quivering. Hi. Mito-chan. I've looked forward to meeting you for a very long time. We have a lot to catch up on, Naruto said as he knelt down to her level as she launched herself into him, nearly knocking him down, sobbing into him. Sure. It's okay, Mito-chan. I'm here now and for a long time now. He cooed her, calming her down as Kushina appeared looking a little bruised up when she saw her daughter hugging someone, making her gasp. Naruto-chan? Is that really you? She asked quietly. Hey Mom. Naruto said. That's all that was needed for the floodgates to open, as the next thing he was a red blur tackling him into the ground as he sobbed into his chest, holding him tightly. You're back. You're finally back. She cried as the genins aside from Mito were confused. Sensei. Who exactly is that, and why is Kushina-sensei crying? Sakura asked, confused. This is the long-lost son of Hokage-sama Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. He's been on assignment for the last 12 years and must have been heading back to Konoha if he spotted us on the way. Kakashi answered with an eye smile since he covered his Sharingan eye. What was the mission that required him to be gone for so long? Sasuke asked. It's classified as a SS rank secret. I can't say, but he's back now and that's what matters. He said with a tone that said stop asking. He must be strong to have that kind of secret regarding him if he's been gone that long on assignment. I want to fight him, Sasuke thought to himself with a smirk. Kushina finally let him go, and they got up and went back to the group. Sorry about that, guys, it's just been a very long time since I last saw my son, and this is actually Mito's first time meeting him. Kushina said sheepishly. Now that Zabuza is gone and his accomplice. What's the plan now? It's almost night time, so how far away is it to get to wherever you're heading to? Naruto asked. We were heading to my house since it's a couple hours away only from here. But you sound like you have a plan. The bridge builder said, seeing him nod. I do have a suggestion. I have a house that's not too far from here at all that we can use for the night, and trust me, there's enough room for everyone. Naruto answered, getting looks of confusion from everyone. I've never seen a house around here, so how is it you have a house nearby? Sasuke asked in disbelief, but shut up when Naruto held out his hand and a plant rose out of his hand, getting shocks from everyone. What would release? How? Kushina asked. That's a secret for later, Mom. I'll explain, and besides, there are some people are eager to meet you, Mom and Mito. Now grab onto me and I'll get us there instantly, Naruto said as they all disappeared in a red flash. Temporary house. They reappeared with everyone, but Sasuke, Sai, Sakura, and the bridge builder wasn't used to it, so they were a little dizzy from it when they saw the house, and it was massive. He was right, and it was big enough for everyone as they walked in, and loved the design of what they were seeing when they saw several people in the house already. I'm back! Naruto called out, getting their attention as Mira, Urza, Kana, Levi, Lucy, Kagura, and Wendy walked towards them. Welcome back, Naruto-kun, Mira said as she kissed him. I assume everything went well since you're back, along with who I assumed to be Konoha Leaf Ninja? Urza asked. I'm Naruto-chan. Who are these women, and why did you kiss one of them? Kushina asked, confused. That's easy, but please don't be mad or think I'm like Jiraiya, because I'm not. Naruto said, getting a raised eyebrow from Kushina, Mito, and Kakashi. Okay. Go on and tell us, brother. Mito said, getting impatient. Okay, squirt. This is Mirajane Namikaze, Urza Namikaze, Kana Namikaze, Levi Namikaze, Lucy Namikaze, and Kagura Namikaze. They're my wives. Naruto introduced. Silence was all that occurred, with all of them not knowing what to say. What? Kushina and Mito shouted in disbelief. How is it you're married already? How'd this happen? Kushina asked, not believing what he said, but knew it was true. She then saw the bundles in their arms and gasped. Are they who I think they are? Kushina quietly asked hopefully. Yep. They're my children. The one with Mira is Lily Namikaze, Irene Namikaze, Cornelia Namikaze, and Tsunade Namikaze. You're a grandmother now, he replied, pointing at each child, then pointing at Wendy. This is Wendy Namikaze. Your adopted daughter. He finished introducing. Kushina finally squealed in excitement, and went to look at her grandkids and her daughter, with Mito doing the same. Kakashi walked over to them lazily as Naruto created a clone to show the genins and builder where they'll be staying for the night. Oh, they are so cute. I'm a grandmother finally, Kushina announced, making Naruto chuckle knowing this would be happening. So Mito, why don't we get to know each other for a few minutes, and then you can meet your sister-in-laws, your sister, and your nieces? You know, likes, dislikes, hobbies, and whatnot? He asked with smile, one that Mito returned excitingly. Yeah. Well, my name is Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. I am 13 years old, and I'm the Uzumaki heir. I like to train, eat ramen, hang out with my friends, my family, Grandma Tsunade and Pervy Sage, I guess. My dislikes are how long it takes to cook ramen, rapists, people who judge others without getting to know them, perverts, and Sasuke team. My hobbies are gardening, training, and now getting to know my brother and new sister. Your turn, big brother. Mito replied. Sure, kid. I'm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze like yourself, and I'm the Namikaze heir. I love my wives and children, my adopted sisters, my parents, Grandma Tsunade, I guess Jiraiya, except I wish he'd be less of a pervert. I like to train. Kurama, who's my partner, someone you'll meet someday, just not at the moment. Cooking, gardening, playing with my kids, big brother Kakashi, Natsu, little sis Lisana, mom, dad, Anko-chan, Kurenai-chan, Yugi-chan, Kuratsuchi-chan, and Mei-chan. My dislikes are rapists, people who don't understand the Biju and the Jinchurikis, bullies, tyrants, and not being able to help people. My hobbies consist of playing with my family, cooking, hanging out with my friends, training, and hanging out with Kurama, Naruto replied with a smile as he hugged his sister, who returned it with excitement. I look forward in getting to know you, Mito, and hope we can get along, he said as she nodded in agreement when Kushina was off to the side holding Irene and smiling at her two children getting along. The rest of the night was spent with laughs and tears as Kushina, Mito, and Kakashi got to know Naruto's family, Wendy, Carla, and kids, along with Natsu, Happy, and Lisana, who the former two found to be extremely cute cats, much different from the demon cat Tora, until everyone went to bed except for him and Kushina, who were sitting on the couch. It's really great to be back, Mom. I missed you so much, he said as he pulled her closer to him. You're not only one son. You have no idea how hard it was seeing you die like that. Speaking of which, Kushina said as she smacked him in the back of the head. Never do that again, you hear me? I thought I was going to lose you when you used that forbidden jutsu. Kushina screamed/cried as she kept hitting him in the chest despite it not actually hurting him. I'm sorry, Mom. I couldn't let Dad go through with it knowing what would happen. The village and Mito would need him more than me. I'm sorry for scaring you like I did, but I'm not going anywhere again. I'm here for the long run, mother. I'm so sorry. Please forgive this fool of a son, Naruto whispered as he cried like she was. Next day, everyone was at the table eating with Naruto having a pink apron that said, "Best dad ever," making Kushina smile in pride at her son, and was so happy that she could be a grandmother finally. Well, now that everyone is well rested, I assume you have a mission to finish, right? If Gato is the one behind all of this, then take him out, and you won't have to worry about Zabuza again since I didn't kill him. Naruto said. Yeah, we do, but what about you, Mirajane? Kushina asked, getting a snicker from Natsu. We'll be heading back to Konoha. I'm sure that dad will want to see us and to meet his grandkids as well. We can get there in a few hours too. I can send one of my toad summons to let him know that we're coming, Naruto said, getting a sad smile from her and Mito as they wanted Naruto to come with them and spend more time with him. Okay. Alright, my cute Genins, we'll be heading out in half an hour, so hurry up so we can get to Tazuna's house, so he can get to working on the bridge again, Kakashi told his students as they nodded and quickly finished eating and getting ready for the day. The two groups split up with Kushina and Mito looking back at their son/brother before they disappeared from view. Well, girls and Natsu, let's get going. We have a few hours until we get to Konoha. I'll be sending a messenger toad to dad so he can expect our arrival, Naruto said as they began walking. Solid plan as any, dear, Mira said with a smile. Now that you've met my mother, what did you think? He asked. She was quite excitable seeing us and the kids, but she was fun to talk to. She seemed to have gotten along with everyone. She even welcomed Wendy as a daughter, which made her very happy as she was nervous that she wouldn't accept her. Mira said with a small laugh. I want to see Tsunade so we can get a drink. From what you told me about her is that she can hold her stuff. Kana smirked when Naruto smiled and shook his head at her antics, knowing she'd never change. I figured as much, which is why I got some of the best sake when I summoned one of the toads to have them gather some sake. Hope you're ready because she can hold her own as well. He smirked, seeing her narrow her eyes at the challenge. We'll have to wait and see when we get there, Kana said. What about your other friends like Enko, Kurenai, Yugao, Asuma, Hana, Gai, Hate, and Genma? Levi asked. Well, Enko-chan is a sadist when it comes to her job in TI along with being a tease, but she's an amazing friend and quite beautiful. I know I explained my old feelings for her and Kurenai, but they've probably moved on by now since it's been years after all, he said with a small frown, but then turned grin. I can't wait to see everyone again. I do have to warn you though about something. Guy will start talking about youth or something along those lines, so you'll have to just go with it, really. And Natsu? Naruto said, getting his attention. No constant fighting with him or anyone. You can spar, but it needs to be in the training grounds and not in the middle of the streets, Naruto stated, getting a pout from the Dragon Slayer. Damn it, he muttered with Lisana giggling at her boyfriend's antics. It'll be fine, Natsu-kun. Just gotta be careful about who or when to challenge someone to a fight. Right, big brother? Lisana asked. Yep. If I find out you cause problems, I'll make sure you punish you, or perhaps I could let Urza-chan punish you for me? What do you say, love? Naruto asked with a smirk, seeing him pale, instantly shaking his head. No. I'll behave, Natsu said in horror. Ah, and here I thought I was going to have to punish you too. Urza pouted, making her look extremely cute. Hey Wendy? Did you have fun with mom and little sis? He asked his blue-haired sister. I had so much fun. I heard that they don't have a healer, so I asked mom if I could join their team as the healer? Wendy said. You want to join their team, huh? That would give them 5 genins on one team if that happened. I'm sure we can figure something out. We'll have to talk to Dad about it when Mom's team gets back from their mission. So hold off for now though, alright? Naruto asked. Hi, she replied. The rest of the trip was filled with talks as they approached the gates of Konoha finally. Nothing looked like had changed in 12 years. He could see 2 gate guards and he couldn't believe who they were. It was the same ones from all those years ago. They were Izumo and Kotetsu, the eternal gate guards. Halt, who goes there? Kotetsu asked. Don't recognize me, man? Here I thought we were friends, Naruto said with fake sadness. You look familiar, but also look like Hokage-sama. State your name and business, he said, confused, but wanted to do his job. Naruto Namikaze, he simply said, getting reactions from them as their jaws dropped on the ground. Damn, you got older, kid. Where have you been all this time? You were missed quite a bit, you know. Izumo answered with a shocked and happy expression on his face. It's a very long story, but we need to finish signing in. Everyone here is with me and won't cause trouble. Sign in, everyone, the blonde man told everyone. Mirajane Namikaze, Urza Namikaze, Kana Namikaze, Levi Namikaze, Lucy Namikaze, Kagura Namikaze, Wendy Namikaze, Carla, Happy, Natsu Drang Neil, Lisana Strauss. They finished signing their names as the 2 gate guards looked at Naruto with pride and shock. Are they your? Kotetsu managed to ask. Well, the first 6 are my wives and the blue-haired girl is my adopted sister. We'll be heading to see my dad now. I owe him and others a visit and hope they don't kill me. He muttered the last part to himself in slight fear. Go on in. And welcome back, old friend, Izumo said with a grin. Good to be back, Naruto said as they left. Things are certainly going to be getting interesting with him back now and with a family at that. You saw the bundles the girls were carrying, right? He grinned at his friend. Of course I did. It's hard to believe that those are his kids. I do feel bad for Kurenai and Anko though. They love him and he's with them already. Izumo said. Hokage Tower. There was 4 people in the office, with one being a man who was doing paperwork. He was about 5 feet 9 inches. He had blonde hair with bangs framing the side of his face and had blue eyes. He was wearing a white haori with kanji for 4th on the back of it while wearing a jonin flak jacket. The second person was a man who looked much older than him. He was wearing similar robes as the first man. He had gray hair and wrinkles signifying his old age. The third person was the last man in the room. He was taller than both men, who was 6 feet 3 inches. He had waist-length spiky white hair that he had tied back in a ponytail, with 2 shoulder-length bangs framing his face. He had red lines under his eyes which extended down his face. His attire consisted of a green short shirt, kimono and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that was visible at his wrists and ankles. He also had on handguards, a lac belt, traditional style with sandals, and a red haori with 2 yellow circles on each sides. The last person was a woman who looked the same age as the third man. She was about 5 feet 4 inches and had blonde hair that were tied in twin pigtails. She also had brown eyes and had a diamond of sorts on her forehead. She wore a green kimono with a green haori that had kanji for gamble on the back. These individuals were Minato Namikaze, who is Naruto's father, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage and grandfather figure to Naruto, Jiraiya of the Sannin, Naruto's godfather, and lastly Tsunade Senju, Naruto's godmother. So Minato, is there a reason that you wanted to meet with us about? Jiraiya asked. It's not often that all 3 of us are called in together like this, so it must be important, right? Tsunade asked. Let's just let him explain to us, and we'll find out. Go on, Minato. Hiruzen said as he gestured for him to explain. Well, not long ago, I received a message from a toad summon that's saying that my son Naruto is back and will be getting here soon, Minato managed to say without shedding tears of happiness. What? Tsunade choked. Yes. The letter said that he'd be arriving soon, and he wouldn't be alone either. Minato said, getting confused looks from everyone. I can't believe that he'll be back soon. Oh, Naruto-kun. I'm going to kill him when I get my hands on that brat for what he did, Tsunade shouted, getting scared looks from the 3 men. I feel sorry for the brat when he gets here. She's going to kill him unless he has something to calm her down. Jiraiya whispered to his old student. Me too, sensei. I fear for my son's life, but he did say that he had some surprises for everyone, so we'll have to wait and see. Minato said. I wonder how the last 12 years have been to him. I still wonder what the Shinigami gave Naruto as a gift that would help him. Hiruzen said as everyone except for Tsunade nodded, with the latter still raging when they heard a knock on the door. Come in. The door opened to reveal Naruto, and followed him were a lot of people. They knew Naruto said he wouldn't be alone, but not expecting so many people. Hey Dad. Grandma Tsunade. Pervy Sage, and Grandpa Hiruzen. I'm home. Naruto said as he was pulled into a bone-crushing hug by Tsunade. You brat. How could you leave me like that? I should kill you for the stunt you pulled. Tsunade cried as she held her godson. Help. C can't be our breathe. He stuttered out as he was turning blue from lack of air. Tsunade. I think you should let him go, so he can introduce us to his guests. Hiruzen said as Jiraiya was eyeing the beautiful women and couldn't help but stare at their chests, being the super pervert he was. Fine, but you owe me, brat. You were missed by many people while you were gone. Tsunade said as she released him. I know, Tsunade, and I'm sorry for any pain I caused you, but I could never allow Mito-chan to become a Jinchuriki, knowing the kind of life that it would be like. Anyway, you're all probably wondering who all of these people are, so without further ado. Naruto said as he went back to the group and hugged Mira close. This is Mirajane Strauss Namikaze, and the little bundle of joy in her arms is our daughter Lily Namikaze. Next we have Urza Scarlet Namikaze, and this is Irene Namikaze. Kana Alberona Namikaze and Cornelia Namikaze, Kagura Namikaze and Tsunade Namikaze, named after you, Grandma. These 2 beautiful women are Lucy Hartfilia Namikaze and Levi McGarden Namikaze. These are my wives and children. There's also Wendy Marvel Namikaze, my adopted sister, Carla, Happy, Natsu Dragneel, and Lisana Strauss. He introduced as he gestured to everyone, but was more so with his wives and baby girls. What? Minato asked as he pointed at his wives and kids. That's right, Dad. You're a grandfather now. Tsunade, Hiruzen, and Pervy Sage are great-grandparents. He grinned as he gestured for them to come closer. Nobody moved at first until Minato and Tsunade immediately figured out what he said as they appeared in front of them with shocked looks. You got married and had kids? The 2 asked loudly. That's right. It's an interesting story for how this happened, he said, gesturing to his wives. Believe me, having a harem wasn't my idea, but I wouldn't change anything as I love each of them very much, and the same goes for my baby girls. Would you like to hold them? He asked. Tsunade nodded rapidly in excitement as she was given little Tsunade, who was giggling at the older woman who was cooing at her. You named her after me, huh, kid? I'm honored you do such a thing. She's beautiful, but then again so are your wives. I take it they take them more than you, she asked with a smirk as Naruto pouted at the jab. They do. Most have their mother's looks more than mine, but that's perfectly fine, they're beautiful as they are. Now come here, Wendy, he said to his little sister, who shyly approached the three who were each holding one. Hi Dad and Grandma. I'm Wendy Marvel Namikaze. Big brother has been looking after me since I was 6, and he's told me all about you along with many other people. I hope you'll accept me part of the family, she said nervously, hoping they don't reject her. Well, don't you have nice manners, Wendy-chan? It's a pleasure to meet you, and if Naruto adopted you into the family, then we'll treat you as part of it. Welcome to the family, Minato said happily as he gave Irene back to Urza so he could hug Wendy, who cried into his chest at being accepted into the family, with Tsunade smiling at her new granddaughter. I want to hear how you all met my idiotic grandson, and how he was able to sweep you off your feet, and what he's been up to for the past 12 years. Tsunade smirked, seeing them blush, especially Mira, remembering how she challenged him, got spanked on the ass, and lost to him. Well, it's good to have you back, my boy. We'll have to do a lot of catching up, but for now, why don't you go get settled at the Uzumaki Namikaze compound? There are some other people who would be dying to see you again, along with other ladies from other villages who've missed just as much. Make sure you visit Enko, Kurenai, Mikoto, Yujito, Kuratsuchi, and Pakura when you're able to. They miss you a lot. Despite knowing you were alive, not having you here was hard on them, so you have a lot of making up to do. Hiruzen gave a grandfatherly smile at him as he hugged him, with Jiraiya smirking at Naruto and giving him a thumbs up. I'm so proud of you, brat. Getting hot babes like them makes me want to cry for you, Jiraiya said until he felt something between his legs, but was too late to do anything. Ah! He cried as he fell over holding his family jewels. That's what you get for talking about my sisters like that, you pervert. Wendy shouted at the man, as she normally wouldn't want to hurt anyone in general, but she knew about this man thanks to what Naruto told her about him. Ha 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 ha, I like this one. Tsunade laughed as she stumbled over, laughing at the scene, seeing a Sannin like Jiraiya get taken down by a 15-year-old like that. We should get going so Dad can finish his never-ending paperwork. Naruto smirked, seeing Minato grumbled about evil Kage's nightmare. Yeah, son. Go and get settled in. I'll see you tonight, okay? Minato smiled at him. You could probably finish sooner if you knew the secret to beating it. I'm surprised none of you know it. It's quite simple after all, Naruto said when he was surrounded by Minato, Hiruzen, and Tsunade. Please tell me the secret to beating paperwork. They shouted. 2 words. Shadow clones. He said as they stood there with everyone except for Jiraiya left to head to the compound to get settled in. Everyone could hear shouting of stupid being repeated over and over again, and praising the secret to finally beating it, and saying how the other Kages don't know it. They arrived at the compound, and for Naruto nothing had changed from the looks of it, and was excited to start a new chapter in his life. He could only wonder what will happen now with his return, and how will things change him and his family. Chapter 3. Naruto, his family and friends are walking through the streets towards the Namikaze Uzumaki estates, looking forward to seeing his old home again after so long. They plan to stay there until they can get a house of their own. He got many waves from people as they passed them with him returning it, but didn't like how many of the guys were looking at his wives with perverted expressions. As they were getting closer, he saw 2 people he hadn't seen in a very long time and instinctively gulped when his eyes landed on 2 people of the group, getting his wife's attention. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? Mira asked, concerned as he could see him sweating a bit. Nothing really. Do you see the one with black hair with white bandages on her wrists, and the other with the purple hair and tan trench coat? He asked, getting more scared of what's going to happen. Yeah. Who are they? Levi wondered with a frown at seeing him look so scared, as not a lot could get him to worry like this. The one with black hair is Kurina Yuhi, and the one with purple hair and trench coat is Anko Midarashi. They're 2 of my best friends and were my ones I used to have feelings for before I disappeared. He answered, not taking his eyes off of them. So those are your old crushes and friends, huh? Why are you so worried? Surely they'll be happy to see you again, right? Urza asked, not understanding why he's so nervous. Well, they probably thought I originally died until they were told about the ordeal with Shinigami-sama. They're going to be so mad at me. He wondered how the whole reunion would go. Lucy, losing her patience and wanting to meet them, starts pushing him. Just go already, Naruto-kun. You have to go see them and stop acting like a child, she said as she pushed him towards them. I know, babe, no need to push, you know, he said with a sigh, but she kept pushing him. Lucy's right. You need this and so do they. Besides, I could use a drink, so I say let's go. Kana encouraged with a grin, thinking about the booze she can try since she was looking forward to meeting Anko. Anko Kurinai. Come on, Nai-chan, you should try this drink. It's really good, trust me. It isn't that bad, Anko tried persuading her. No, Anko. I'm not wanting to get drunk today. Besides, I've heard that it's not all cracked up to be. Kurinai said, turning down the offer. Yeah, well, it's helping me. I miss him, Nai-chan, she said with her mood changing to one of longing. I miss him too. Hell, I think about him every day wondering how he's doing, but he wouldn't want us to be drinking like this, she said with her own sad expression. Kurinai-chan, Anko-chan? They hear someone call out to them nervously. They turned in the direction to see a man who was in his early 20s. He had blonde spiky hair, blue eyes, but what made him different was the whisker-like marks on his cheeks. Who are you? Anko growled, not in the mood. Don't use such casual suffixes as if you know us. Now again, who are you? Kurenai asked angrily. You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. I know it's been 12 years and all, but this is just mean. Naruto faked being hurt, holding his heart dramatically. Recognize you? 12 years? She asked, confused. Nai-chan looked at his cheeks again. I recognize those anywhere. There was only one person who had those aside from Mito, Enko pointed out as she started tearing up having made the connection. What? Kurenai asked, still confused. She took a second look when her eyes widened in recognition as they launched at the blonde man. Naruto Keien. They cried out as they knocked him down, shedding tears of joy at seeing the man they loved again after so long. It's really me and I'm back finally. He smiled sadly at them, seeing their tears. After some time of calming down, the girls got off of him, but before he could say anything, he suddenly hit in the stomach by Enko and in the face by Kurenai, sending him flying back. I deserve that. He gasped out, chuckling to himself. He grunted getting up, but saw a kunai heading towards him. He brought out his own kunai blocking it when Enko appeared in front of him, driving her first at him when he caught her punch with his hand. Are you done now? He asked, smirking. No. Now Nai-chan. Enko shouted as a tree branch appeared, trapping him using genjutsu. She punched him in the face again with a satisfied smirk. Now we're satisfied, she said with a smirk. Glad to hear it, he said as he pulled them into a hug. I miss you too, he whispered, making them smile and return the hug. Enko stepped back, facing him. When did you get back? It's been 12 years, asshole. Enko cried/growled. I actually got back today. I have a lot to tell about the last 12 years. I actually have some people I want to introduce to you too and still need to see some others, which I'm not looking forward to either. He muttered the last part to himself, as he led them to where his family is. To say they're shocked to see these new people as they had never seen them before but were all quite beautiful. Who are they, Naruto-kun? Kurenai asked, having a feeling of dread in her stomach. They are my wives, he said, getting shocked looks from them. What? They shouted in disbelief at the same time. They walked up to them with smiles on their faces but were also nervous knowing this would be an awkward situation. Hello? It's nice to meet you. I'm Mirajane, but you can call me Mira like everyone else does. Mira introduced herself, giving the other ladies their cue. I'm Urza, she greeted with a smile. Lucy, she waved shyly. Levi, she waved nervously. Kagura, she introduced herself with a neutral look. Kana, I heard from Naruto-kun that you can hold your beer, we should get along fine. She gestured to Enko. They noticed the babies that are being held making them coo at them. Who are these cuties? Kurenai cooed at them, even Enko was smiling at them. These are my daughters. This is Lily, Irene named after Urza's mother, Cornelia after Kana's mother, and Tsunade after Grandma Tsunade, he said, making them smile more seeing the babies look around with interest. So you got married and had kids, huh? She asked, trying to act tough, but on the inside she was hurting at the news. I did. They're my life and my angels, he told her as he kissed Lily's head, getting noises from her. You wanted to talk to them, right, Mirachan? He asked her. I did, so could you take the kids, dear? We'll meet you at the compound later, Mira said, getting confused looks from Enko and Kurenai. Sure. I want to catch up later with you two after your talk with them, so when you're done we can do that along with the others, he said to the two kunoichis as he created 3 clones, one each taking the kids, and walked off leaving the ladies to themselves. What did you want to talk to us about? She asked while trying to be polite, but also curious. Naruto-kun, of course, she said as if it was the most obvious thing. He talked a lot about you two and a few others he was close with, even telling us how he had loved you, but was too scared to ever say anything, Mira said, making them go wide-eyed at what they just heard. What? He said that? Enko asked in disbelief. He did, so me and the other girls talked about it, and if we were ever to come here and meet you, we'd ask if you wanted a chance with him, she explained to them, getting shocked looks from them. But he's married to you girls already. Why would you do this? Kurenai asked. Because he still has feelings for you, but would never act on those feelings, unless we gave him the go-ahead, which we are if you're interested, that is. Levi joined in the conversation. Why do this for us? Enko asked, confused about what was going on. Because Naruto would be happy and so would you too. He's done so much for us, and we want to do something for him, Lucy said with a smile, thinking back. He would do that for everyone he cared about. He'd go to hell and back if it meant he could help them. I have no doubt he'd go through anything for his wives and kids. It's just who he is, Kurenai said with a smile. Well, we have some time, but are you sure you two should be out and about being pregnant? You're looking to be not too far away from when you give birth? How far along are you anyway? Enko asked. We'll be fine, I'm not helpless and need to be coddled. Naruto-kun is like that already when it comes to us. I'm 6 months along, so I have another 3 months until Layla is born, Lucy said with a sigh, but smiled at how much Naruto loves her and the others. I'm in the same boat as Lucy here. Naruto-kun is always worrying about us overdoing anything. As much as he drives us crazy at times, we still love him as he loves us. Levi smiled as she rubbed her pregnant belly. I'm 7 months along and excited for when Natsumi will be born. she said with a smile. If you say so, but we'll be keeping an eye on you to make sure nothing happens. I look forward to getting to know you all. Kurenai said, excited to get to know them. With Naruto. Naruto had made it to the compound, finally being able to see his old home again after so long. It brought back many memories. Now he could share this place with his family, and he was quite excited to see how things would work out. It seems like this place hasn't changed much in 12 years. I wonder how Aunt Makoto, Aunt Sim, Yugi-chan, Pakura-chan, Kuro-chan, and Mei-chan are doing, he said to himself. Better get the girls settled in for a nap and start unpacking our stuff. Are you, my little princesses, ready to start their new life? You will love it here. He cooed at his daughters, who were giggling and trying to grab his face with their tiny fingers. 2 hours later, he had gotten everything moved into the estate along with getting the girls down for their naps, allowing him to fully focus on settling in. Luckily, he had shadow clones to make things easier for him. He took 2 rooms upstairs, with one being for him and his wives and the other for his daughters. Now Naruto was in the living room playing the piano that he had brought with him, since it brought him some peace, finding it soothing, and it was a good hobby he picked up on, loving the chance to play for his family. Well, this is something I didn't expect to find. When did you get into music and learn to be very good? Minato asked, getting his attention. Oh, hey Dad, it's just something I picked up on as a hobby in my time in Earthland. Naruto answered. How'd you come to learn how to play this? I don't think I've seen something like this before, but you have practiced to get this good, son. Where are the girls and my daughter-in-laws at? Minato asked, not seeing them anywhere. The kids are sleeping right now and my wives are with Kurenai-chan and Anko-chan. We ran into them on the way here and it was an interesting reunion, to say the least. He shivered, remembering the beatdown he got from them. Well, I saw that coming from them. Glad to hear you got to see them though. Anyhow, it's great to have you back. A lot has happened since your disappearance, and I want to hear about your time in Earthland, was it? He asked, wanting to confirm the name, getting a nod and confirmation from the younger blonde. Before I forget to ask, what was the bloodline that the Shinigami gave you? He asked curiously. Oh, that will take a while, so I hope you're ready for a long story. I can show you what he gave me. He smirked as he closed his eyes for a moment before opening them to reveal the Rinnegan that was purple with 4 rings and 7 tomos in each eye. Minato was surprised beyond degree, recognizing them from what Jiraiya had told him with his last students, with one of them having the same eyes except Naruto's looked a little different. The Rinnegan, he said in shock. That's right. When I was making the deal with the Shinigami, Kurama gave me his opinion on it, and suggested that I pick the Rinnegan to honor his father, as apparently we have the same ideals and beliefs. He said, shrugging his shoulders. What are your eyes able to do exactly? There isn't much information on what they are capable of, so there's little known about them. Minato asked with excitement in his voice, getting the chance to learn more about the legendary eyes. Well, there are 7 paths in total, each granting me different abilities and techniques, but I can also distribute each path to a person who has died and bring them back to life, so to speak, but that would only lead to 6 people for me to use. There is the Deva path, controlling attractive and repulsive forces with the Deva path, mechanically altering one's body with the Asura path, extracting souls through the human path, summoning various creatures through the animal path, absorbing chakra through the Preta path, and access to the King of Hell through the Naraka path. A 7th ability, called the Outer Path, is said to allow the user to preside over life and death, granting them the ability to revive the dead. The Outer Path also allows the user to transmit their chakra into black receivers, manifest chakra chains to bind the tailed beasts, 40, and create the 6 paths of pain, 6 bodies controlled through the use of black receivers, which can each utilize one aspect of the 6 paths technique. The Rinnegan grants the user a shared field of vision with their 6 paths of pain, the creatures summoned through the animal path, and the King of Hell, all of which possess copies of the Rinnegan in their own eyes. That's the gist of what they are capable of, but it took years to get them mastered, as I have now, where I don't need to really use my other paths on others unless I need numbers on my side. Naruto explained with a grin, seeing his dad's gobsmacked expression on his face before he started chuckling. That's quite impressive. Anything else I need to know about them? The Hokage asked. Hee. It gave me a high affinity for all 5 chakra natures, whereas before it was water, fire, and wind, but now I can use all 5 elements, and even some sub-elements I managed to recreate. He answered. Hokage's son, you're going to give me a heart attack. You mentioned that they can subdue tailed beasts, right? Speaking of, how's the fox been treating you? Any problems? Minato asked worriedly, as he knew how stubborn he could be. Oh, he's been fine. Snarky and a smartass, but we've been working together for years. He even claimed that I was a lot like his old man. He said with a smile. Who's his father? That's the 2nd time you've referred to him having a father of sorts. And you've been working together? Minato asked, surprised yet curious. His father is of course the sage of 6 paths along with the other tailed beasts. They are siblings after all, so it would make sense. With me and Kurama working together, I'm like Killer Bee is with his tailed beast dad. A perfect Jinchuriki. He answered with a smirk, seeing his expression. What? He shouted, eyes wide open, and his jaw was on the ground. Yep. Kurama told me about him, and how he created them, and it was tough when I fought Kurama for his chakra among other things, and then synchronizing together took months to master, as we could go into Biju mode for 5 to 10 minutes at first, but now I can go for hours with the cloak on. He grinned in pride. Minato's eyes widened even further to the size of dinner plates, as he digested what he was just told by his son. You did it, didn't you? You actually did what your mother or Mito-sama couldn't do, he said in disbelief before he started chuckling. I shouldn't be surprised anymore. You've always have done the impossible and still continue to do it now. So about your time in Earthland? The older blonde asked as Naruto started to tell him his adventures. Later, for the next 3 hours, Naruto spent telling his dad about his time in Earthland, what his training was like, when he met and adopted Wendy, found Carla, them joining Fairy Tail, his fight against Mira, which made Minato chuckle seeing how Cushing was like that too, meeting the others, how he met his wives and how he got together with them, going on different jobs, the guild war happening with Phantom Lord, dealing with the Tower of Heaven, Oration Cease, which was a dark guild wanting to use Nirvana, traveling to the counterpart world of Earthland that was called Edo Loss, taking part in the Grand Magic Games, fighting the Tartaros Guild, and lastly fighting the Black Wizard Zeref and him taking on the Black Dragon Apocalypse using his full Biju mode, making Minato go wide-eyed, again wondering how much of a battle that must have been like. After that the Shinigami contacted me, letting me know it was about time to head back here, so she gave us a week to get everything in order, as we wouldn't be back for some time. We ended up landing near the Land of Waves where we met up with Mom, Mito, and Kakashi, helping them deal with Zabuza Momochi and his accomplice. After they met the girls, my daughters, Natsu and Lisana, they stayed the night with us, and then they continued with their mission, while we headed over to Konoha where we met up with you. He finished his explanation, getting a look of awe from his dad. That's quite the story, son. You've certainly been through a lot with your family, huh? I'm glad to have you back and I could meet your wives and daughters, he said with a smile. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I'm a grandpa now and that Kushina is a grandma now. How are Lucy and Levi? I could tell they're pregnant, but how far along are they? He asked. Lu-chan and Levi-chan are 6 and 7 months, so they only have around 2 to 3 months left until they are due. We have names for our kids already. Me and Lucy ended up going with Layla after her mother in her memory. Me and Levi decided on Natsumi to be her name. Speaking of Levi, she may approach you and or Mom about seals. She has a talent for runes which are similar to seals and is like an Uzumaki in the art. She loves to learn new things and she'll want to talk to you both about it. It's sometimes scary with how into it she is, he sighed, but smiled anyway knowing how his blue-headed beauty is. Is that so? Well, I look forward to getting to know them along with my new daughter and granddaughters. Minato smiled. What are you going to do now that you're back? He asked. What do you mean? Naruto asked, confused. I mean, are you going to be a shinobi for the village again like before? He asked. That would be a plan, but I also plan on writing a book on my adventures in Earthland. The younger blonde shrugged his shoulders. That's great, son, but before that I would want to test you to see if you're Jonin material or not. You've been gone for a long time and I know you've gotten stronger and better, but others would consider it favoritism if I promoted you all of a sudden, Minato said with a frown, thinking about the elders, exclude Danzo since he's dead. Naruto nodded, kind of expecting something like this. That's fine with me. We can do that after Mom, Mito, and Kakashi come back, as he would want to be one of the ones to test me. Naruto replied. The Hokage accepted the answer as it would give him time to set it up and to give Naruto a chance to get reacquainted with the village and his friends along with his wives to meet the villagers. They continued talking when the girls got back along with Kurenai and Anko surprising Minato, but Naruto having an idea of what they're doing here, especially when they seemed nervous about something, which was odd since they never were nervous about anything. When their gazes met, the two kunoichis glanced at each other before nodding and grabbing his hands and dragging him outside, confusing him more, but everyone else was chuckling at the scene. Did you two want to talk to me about something? He asked, raising an eyebrow. We've known each other for a long time and been friends, right? Kurenai asked, getting nervous about confessing to him. Of course, we're friends and always will be. Is there? Naruto was interrupted when Anko walked up to him, grabbed his shirt and slammed her lips into his, allowing her tongue to enter his mouth. The sudden action caught Naruto by surprise, his eyes going wide until he closed them, returning the kiss with equal passion. This went on for a minute when they separated to catch their breaths, staring into each other's eyes. I love you, Naruto-kun, and have for years, and when you disappeared, it was hard to move on. You were one of the only ones who didn't treat me any different because of the curse mark that Orochimaru team gave me and treated me as an equal. Not only that, but you always cared about me to help me when I needed it. You didn't once think of me like most guys do when they'd see me thinking I was easy or something, but respected me and even managed to get rid of the curse mark as well. I love you so much, and it's not just me that loves you either. Anko confessed, blushing atomically, while looking at Kurenai, making her blush as well. Is this what Mirajane talked to you two about? He asked them. Why, yes. She told us that if we had feelings for you, then we could try dating you. I love Naruto-kun as well. You've treated me not just as a woman, but as an equal shinobi. Not many people have done that for me. It made me realize how special you were, and the more we went on missions or just hung out I grew to fall in love with you. When you disappeared like Anko mentioned, it tore me apart as I thought you had died until Kushina-sensei told us what happened with the Shinigami, and I don't want to waste this chance to be with you. She answered nervously, gripping her clothes in anticipation, not sure what he'd do. Naruto stares at them with them thinking that he'd reject them when they're pulled into a loving hug, surprising them. They look up to see him smiling at them both. I have loved you both for years and admired you both ever since we met. I never said anything due to not wanting our friendship to be at risk of losing. Even after disappearing to Earthland, I thought about you two every day hoping I could come back to you, even when I was dating and got married to the others. They wanted to get to know you and encouraged me to go after you, but I was terrified of doing it. If you will give us a chance, I will not forget or show any favoritism. I love all of my girls equally, and the same goes for you too. He confessed, smiling at them as he wiped their tears that were going down their cheeks. Kurenai and Anko couldn't be happier than they were right now hearing his feelings for them. They each pulled him into a loving kiss, excited to be with the man that they loved so much. They separated after some time with smiles as he cupped both of their cheeks with love and affection. I promise to take care of both you and to cherish you always. You've been my best friends for a long time and always will be no matter what. I'll do anything to make you two happy, and as long as you and the others are happy, then I will be happy too. He promised them with a warm smile, hugging them with them returning it. Come on, we should head back inside. Dinner should be ready soon, and Wendy doesn't like people being late for meals, especially when she's cooking. He shivered at the memory of what happened last time he was late to dinner, and won't forget the glare and lecture he got from her. Oh, looks like things went well, don't you think so? Kana teased, winking at them. Stop teasing, Kana. I look forward to getting to know my future sister wives. Urza stated with a grin, seeing the two blush at the thought of marriage a little. Is it true, big brother? Wendy asked, getting a nod from him. You better treat them well, or else I'll make sure to remove what makes you a man. Remember what happened to Jiraiya? She threatened, making him pale as he nodded rapidly in understanding as Anko laughed out loud and Kurenai giggled at the interaction. I like this kid. Anko grinned. You should have seen her take down pervy Sage. That was funny to see, Naruto said, smirking at the memory. Anko and Kurenai both looked at the blue-haired girl with surprise as she had the look of innocence, with one thing going through their mind. How? They thought. He kicked him where the sun didn't shine. He shivered seeing her angry outburst. Ha 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 ha. That's hilarious. Anko busted out laughing as she fell over, holding her sides with Kurenai not doing much better. The pervert got what was coming to him for staring at my sister-in-laws, and it felt good putting him in his place. Wendy grinned sadistically, making Naruto and Minato pale, covering their groins. I think we're going to get along well, Wendy, the Genjutsu mistress said, grinning at the younger girl. With that said, the rest of the evening was spent with laughs, sharing stories, and enjoying each other's company, with Naruto catching up with his new girlfriends Anko and Kurenai. Next day, Naruto had woken up early for the day to do some morning training before he did what he had planned for the day, as it would be a busy one for him, especially visiting his aunt, Mikoto. He was nervous about seeing her, not knowing what she'll do, as he remembered how scary she could be, much like his mother. He could see Minato in the kitchen drinking some coffee when he noticed him walking in. Morning, son, you're up early, aren't you? Minato asked, not expecting anyone else to be up this early. I was planning on getting some training in before I went to visit someone who might end up killing me, the younger blonde said, getting a look of confusion from him. Huh? Who are you planning to visit today? He asked his son, Aunt Mikoto. Was all he said, getting a no look from his father, and a wince knowing how that will go, knowing how she could be like his wife. Good luck with. Hopefully she won't be too hard on you. He wished when he remembered his son mentioning training. What type of training do you plan to do? He asked, curious since he didn't know what he had picked up on since he left. I was going to work on 2 sub-elements to get better control over them when using them, as it takes a large amount of chakra to use them. He answered. Which ones? I wasn't aware you could use sub-elements? Minato asked, not aware that his son learned to combine elements like that. Storm Release and Scorch Release are the ones out of all the ones I have worked on that need the most work. Naruto replied, making his dad even more curious. You're saying you know more than those 2? Which ones, now that I'm quite curious, son? Minato asked, intrigued. Well, let's see, there's ice, lava, boil, dust, sand, magnet, crystal, swift, and wood release. That's all I have so far. He answered like it was nothing, with a smirk on his face. Minato didn't know what to think about all of this new information he's learned about his son. He could use not just one, but multiple Kekai Genkai adapt to this partnership with the Kyuubi, his other skills in Fuinjutsu, Kenjutsu, Taijutsu, and add the Rinnegan to top it all off. His son could be the most powerful shinobi in the world, yet his son is so humble and kind to everyone despite having all of that power, making him proud to be his father. I am at a loss for words, Naruto. To have accomplished all of that makes me and your mother the proudest parents we could ever be. He smiled at his son. Thanks, Dad. I'm going to head out now. Have fun at the office. He smirked, seeing his dad grumble out something about paperwork. Cheeky brat. He shook his head at his son as he left the house as he finished getting ready for his day. 3 hours later, Naruto had spent the time training his wind and fire manipulations to get better control over the affinities, since it would help with his Kekkei Genkai when combining the elements. He had been attempting to come up with different chakra control exercises he could do, but nothing new had come to mind. After some time he realized he'd need to talk to Pakura, who uses the scorch release more natural than him, and talk to Ai if he knows someone who could help him with his storm release. Now he was back at the estate where he could see Mira, Urza, Kagura, and Kana breastfeeding the girls. Levi was in the living room reading a book that looked like it was about the Sage of Six Paths with a stack of books next to her. He assumed Minato had left for the office already. Poor bastard. Good morning, girls. He kissed his wives on the lips and his daughters' foreheads with love. Morning, Naruto-kun. Mira chirped happily. Good morning, my dear husband. Urza greeted back. Hello, Naruto-kun. Levi smiled at him. Hey, lover boy. Kana smirked. Hello, Naruto-kun. Kagura responded. Where's Natsu, little Lee-sana, Wendy-chan, and Lu-chan? He asked them. Natsu is still asleep while the others are in the kitchen. Lee-sana is trying to keep Lu-chan from doing too much, but she's being stubborn about it, much like you, Naru. Levi giggled seeing him pout. I'll go check on them to make sure everything is fine and that Lu-chan isn't overexerting herself, then go shower. He said, walking towards the kitchen. Yeah, you stink, Naruto-kun. Kana teased with a smirk. He rolled his eyes at his lover's teasing antics. Such a tease you are. I'll be back in a few. He waved as he walked into the kitchen, seeing all three of them working hard. He snuck his arms around Lucy's waist, catching her by surprise. Eep. She squeaked when she felt Naruto kiss her cheek. That was cute, love, he said, looking innocent. She pouted, hitting him in the chest. Not funny, Naru. You nearly gave me a heart attack. She glared at him mockingly. He laughed, making her giggle. Right, sorry, Lu-chan, I couldn't help it. He grinned as he turned towards his two sisters. And how are you two this morning? He asked them. I'm fine, big brother. Breakfast is almost done, though. Wendy answered with a smile. Yep, but until it's ready, you need to go shower since you reek, bro, Lee-sana added, plugging her nose with a smirk. I know. Just wanted to check on you three. I'll see you in a few minutes. He told them as he left to shower. 10 minutes later, they were all gathered at the table making small talk with each other, enjoying the company while eating breakfast. Do you have anything planned for Naruto-kun today? Kagura asked. Well, I was thinking of visiting Aunt Mikoto and Aunt Sum today, since she'll want to see me before I get announced that I'm back. He answered with a shrug. Oh, that'll be fun. I've been wanting to meet her for a while now. Mira chirped. She'd love to meet any of you. I was also going to talk to my dad about something that involves Wendy wanting to become a genin to be on Mom's team. He told them, then looked over at Wendy, who nodded in confirmation when she realized what he said. Really? She shouted in excitement, bouncing in her chair. Absolutely, Wendy-chan. They could use a healer on their team, but we'll have to see what he has to say on it, so don't get too excited. We'll go see him first and then go visit Mikoto afterwards. He smiled at seeing his sister so excited. What about your girls? He asked his wives. I want to get familiar with the compound, maybe even go visit Kurenai and Anko. Lucy responded. I'll probably stay here. I've been enjoying these books about the Sage of Six Paths. I don't want to risk overexerting myself. Levi shrugged. I'll be going to see Tsunade, maybe have a drink with her. Kana said with a smirk. I'm not surprised by Kana-chan, but do go easy on the beer, please. He sighed. I make no promises. She winked at him. Anyway, I'll be using the training ground. I've gotten soft on training since I became a mother, and don't want to become weak. That's about it. Urza said. Do you mind watching Irene today, Levi-chan? She asked her sister wife. Not a problem. I love looking after the girls. She smiled at the redhead. Thank you, Levi. Urza thanked her. Do you mind if I join you? I could use the chance as well, since I don't get too often as well. Kagura asked. Sure. I welcome it. Urza smiled at her. Would one of you be able to watch her for a bit for me? Kagura asked them. I can. I don't have any plans for today, so it would be nice babysitting for you. Lee-sana answered with a smile. Sounds like a plan, everyone, but don't overdo it today, okay, Lu-chan? Levi-chan, okay? He asked with concern in his voice. We'll be fine, Naruto-kun. You're worrying too much. Lucy waved off his worries, but is always touched with how caring he is of them. I just worry about you and the babies. The same goes for all of you girls. He said, but then thought of something. Wendy-chan, don't get a boyfriend until you're at least 18. He smirked, seeing her cheeks get red. Brother! She shouted in embarrassment, which got laughs from everyone else. Alright, let's finish up breakfast and then we can go, okay, you two? He asked. Okay, Naruto-kun / you got it. Mira / Wendy answered at the same time. The rest of the meal was spent with small talk, with Naruto playing with the babies since he finished first, and was waiting for everyone else to finish eating. They finished and got ready for the rest of the day. Naruto wore a white shirt, black umbu pants, and black combat boots. Mira wore her usual maroon dress that showed off her figure while wearing sandals. Wendy wore a blue shirt with yellow plants and white shoes. Ready to go, dear? He asked his wife, who nodded with a smile, then turned towards Wendy. Wendy? Are you ready? He asked his sister, who nodded at him. Bye girls, we'll be back later. He kissed each of his wives and hugged Lee-sana, then left for the day. As they headed to the Hokage tower, Mira and Naruto noticed how nervous Wendy was getting with how fidgety she was getting. Are you okay, Wendy? You seem nervous. Is something on your mind? Mira asked. I'm just nervous is all. I want to help them, but what if Dad says no? She questioned when he felt a hand on her shoulders coming from the two adults. It'll be alright, Wendy. I'm sure that your father will allow it, but if not, something will be figured out, so there's no need to worry, Mira said to the younger girl, wanting to ease her worries. She nodded her head, calming down a little. Naruto smiled at the two and how proud of her he was for Wendy wanting to help people. Hokage Tower. They arrived at the building inside. They found it to be 2 levels high to get to his dad's office. When they reached the second level, they saw his secretary, and it was someone Naruto knew very well and hadn't seen again in 12 years doing paperwork. Excuse me, is the Hokage available right now? Naruto asked her. Do you have an appointment with him? She asked, not looking up. Not officially, but I'm hurt you don't recognize my voice. I know it's been a long time and all, but I'm hurt. He said, holding his heart in mock hurt. Huh? She asked, looking up, not recognizing him at first, when she gasped seeing the whisker marks. And Mirajane? She asked, hoping it was the same boy. It's me, Miss Kuroyuki. Was all he said before he was nearly tackled by the now named Kuroyuki, who was crying into his chest. You idiot! How could you do something so stupid and nearly get yourself killed? She cried, holding him tighter, as if he would disappear if she let go of him, when she started bonking him on the head repeatedly. Ow, 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 ow. Stop please, I learned my lesson already. He argued, but she wasn't having any of it and continued hitting him. No, you need to learn your lesson and not do something so foolish ever again. She argued with one final hit when she noticed that he wasn't alone. Oh, I'm so sorry you brought guests with you. She apologized with a blush, making him chuckle, but shut up when she glared at him. Hello? I found it to be quite amusing seeing my husband get down like that, and I'm sure his daughter will want to hear about this when she's older. Mira chirped happily, not seeing her look of shock. Husband? Are you telling me you got married and not only that, but had a kid too? Kuroyuki shouted in disbelief. He rubbed his head sheepishly. Yes? He said, not sure how to reply when he got hit on the head again by her. Oh, how could you, Mirajane? You got married without telling me? She cried incredulously, with Mira smiling mischievously, and Wendy was giggling the whole time. Hey! Help me out here, you two! He shouted at the two women. Wendy, feeling like he suffered enough, decided to help him out. I think Big Brother has had enough, don't you think, Miss Kuroyuri? She asked, still giggling a little. Oh, you are so cute! What are your names? She asked, with her mood changing in a 180. Wendy. Wendy Marvel Namikaze. It's nice to meet you. Big Brother told me a lot about you. She introduced with a wide smile. You are just so adorable. I bet he beats the boys away, huh? I always did tell him that he would make a great older brother. She said, grinning. I'm Mirajane Strauss Namikaze, one of Naruto's wives, and this is our daughter Lily Namikaze, the oldest of 4 kids. She introduced them to her. You're beautiful and you have a cute daughter. Are the other kids at home? Kuroyuki asked. Yes, they are. They're with their mothers right now. Big Brother has 5 other wives. Wendy said, causing Naruto to pale, seeing Kuroyuri cracking her knuckles menacingly. So little Narichan is a pervert like his godfather, huh? She smirked, taking steps closer towards him. And no, wait, it isn't like that. Just ask Mira. He cried, not wanting to get another beating when he didn't see the twitch in her lips until she started giggling, turning to laughing. Huh? He was confused about what was going on. I know you're not like him. I just wanted to see your reaction. I'll let your father know that you're coming to see him. We'll talk later, okay? She asked with a smile. Of course. He replied, giving her another hug. It was nice to meet you, Miss Kuroyuki. Wendy waved with Mira smiling at her. Likewise, dears. It was wonderful to meet you too, she said before getting the microphone for the Hokage's office. Hokage-sama, your son is here to see you about something, she told him. Send them in. Minato told her with her nodding as they got closer to his office. Hokage's office. Minato was on the couch reading a familiar orange book, while he had 3 shadow clones doing the paperwork. He then heard a knock on the door, knowing who it was told them to come in while he dispelled the clones. Naruto, Wendy, and Mira? What can I do for you? The Hokage asked. Well, Wendy here has something that she wants to talk to you about, also thought you could use a break from work and play with Lily for a bit. Naruto said. Of course, I could use a break from it. What did you want to tell me about Wendy-chan? He asked his new daughter while happily taking his granddaughter, making her make happy baby sounds. I want to be a shinobi, dad. She told him, catching him by surprise. Is that so? May I ask, why do you want to be a shinobi? He asked her seriously. I want to be able to help the shinobi of Konoha or any shinobi since Big Brother has friends in other villages. From what Mom told me, not many teams have a medic/healer, and I want to help people that put their lives on the line. She said with determination in her eyes. Minato smiled at her with pride, wanting to help people as most would rather cause destruction and learn flashy moves, making him proud of his new daughter. That's an admirable reason to have Wendy-chan. I'll have to put you as a genin, but I have to ask, what are you in the field of being a medic among your other skills that you have? He asked, still cooing at Lily. I have my Sky Dragon Slayer abilities, which I've learned from my dragon mother, who taught me how to heal most injuries and even some poisons. But it may be different here, since the poisons here will be different. I've learned a lot about the human body. CNA can use first aid kits as well if I'm low on magic power. Big brother made sure I knew all of that when he was training, as well as how to use and throw kunais, senbons, and shurikens. My main element is air or wind. Nad have been able to recreate some wind attacks that he showed me into my own, along with stealth, tracking with my sense of smell being sharper with me being a dragon slayer. She explained, getting an impressed look from Minato. That's pretty impressive, as it seems like my son has taught you well, but I'm quite curious about what being a dragon slayer means. Can you shed some light on that? He asked. That's a long story, but the short version is I was taught dragon slayer magic by a dragon named Grandini, who raised me for the first 5 years until big brother Naruto found me when I was 6. She had to leave because she sealed herself inside me to protect me from what is called a dragon seed, which would have eventually turned me into a dragon. She explained, getting a wide-eyed Minato who was staring at Wendy. A D-dragon? You would have turned into a dragon if she didn't do that? Is she still sealed in you? Can you communicate with her? He asked, curiously yet giddy at the same time. Yeah. I can talk to her like Naruto can talk to Kurama, except Grandini is nicer, but she teases me often. She mumbled the last part. Well, I'm glad you've been taken care of and had people to look out for you. You and Mito will get along splendidly when she gets back. He said. Wendy, you should show him that technique I taught you. Naruto told her with a smirk that she returned. Show me what? Minato asked. Wendy held her palm out when a familiar spiraling orb appeared in her palm, shocking him, not expecting her to know how to do the Rasengan. She knows the Rasengan? He nearly shouted, not wanting to wake Lily up, who just went to sleep. She sure does. It's different since she doesn't use chakra. She had to recreate it using magic, but it has the same impact as the original one does. It took her 3 months to recreate, which surprised me when she showed him it. Naruto stated proudly, further shocking him as the orb disappeared. Minato stared at Wendy, making her squirm under his gaze when he got up from his chair, walked up to her and pulled her into a hug, which she returned immediately. I'm so proud of you, Wendy. To accomplish so much at your age is incredible. You may not be a Namikaze in blood, but you have the heart and determination of one as well as an Uzumaki. He said, getting a teary-eyed smile from her. Since she's going to be a genin, what team would she be on? She wants to be on Mom's team, but I have a feeling it won't work out. What do you think, Dad? He asked him, getting a shake from him. He sighed, knowing that Wendy would want to be on his wife's team, but knew he would have to tell her no, something he didn't want to do, but had to for fairness to the other genin teams. I'm sorry, Wendy, but it wouldn't be fair to the other teams since they already have 4 members on their team. He frowned, seeing her dejected expression before smiling. However, I can place you on another team. I want to hear what you think would be the best fit for you. He tells them. How many teams are there aside from Kushina's team? Mira asked curiously. There are 4 teams, with Kushina's being Team 7, then we have Team 8, which is a tracking team consisting of Hinata Hyuga, the clan heir for the Hyugas, who's the daughter of Hayashi Hyuga, your uncle. Next we have Kiba Inuzuka, clan heir, the son of Tsum Inuzuka, who's your aunt. You need to visit them both sometime soon as they miss you, son. Anyway, lastly we have Shino Aburame, who's the son of Shibi Aburame as well as a clan heir. I'll be skipping Team 9 since they've been together for a year already, so putting you with them might hinder their teamwork. Team 10 is the new Inoshikacho generation, so your best bet would be Team 8 with your skills you've told me. Minato explained to them, getting nods from them. That works perfectly for me. I'm familiar already with Kurenai since she's dating Naruto. I can't wait to get started. Wendy smiled at them. Oh son, before I forget, we need to get you reintroduced to the council and then later on the village of your return and introduce your family, and Wendy to them as well, he said with Naruto sighing, but nodded anyway. When will this meeting happen? Aunt Mikoto and Aunt Tsum alone are trouble, but together, I might die. He paled and shivered thinking about the beat down he'll get from them. I'll be calling for one later this afternoon, so you have some time to let the rest of your family know and to get prepared. It'll also be a good time to let Hayashi, Tsum, and Hayashi know that Wendy will be joining their team as well. Minato told them, nodding at this news. Don't worry, I'll be sure Naruto-kun is on time. He's picked up a little habit of being late that he really needs to get rid of, Mira said, smiling all too sweetly, making him start to sweat at her gaze. Poor bastard, Minato said in thought, feeling sorry for his son knowing his pain. Thank you, Mira. It seems he's picked up Kakashi's habit of being late to meetings as well, huh? I'll send someone from Umbu to let you know when the meeting is about to start, Minato said, getting nods from them. Alright, thanks, Dad. He said as he took Lily back. She whined about leaving her grandpa, making him smile knowing she likes him. I gotta get back to this damn paperwork. I'll see you later, he said as they left the office as he glared at the stack of papers. Outside. Well, things are about to get more interesting, don't you think so, dear? Mira asked her husband with a smirk. I guess so. Hopefully it won't be too bad, he told her when he noticed Wendy was being quiet again. Are you nervous, Wendy? He asked her. A little. We're being introduced to everyone and I'm not sure what will happen, she replied nervously. You'll be just fine, Wendy. Nothing will happen or will anyone try anything, especially not the civilian council if they know what's good for them. He comforted her with a smile. We'll need to go let everyone else know. Especially Natsu, so he doesn't do anything to get himself into trouble, Mira said, agreeing with her as they head back to the compound to tell everyone. They made it back to the compound and told everyone about the upcoming council meeting, having spent the last hour explaining what to expect. The only person they had to worry about saying or doing something would be Natsu. It shouldn't be too bad, big brother. I'll make sure to keep an eye on Natsu-kun. Lee-sana giggled. Hey! I know how to behave. He argued with a pout. We want to believe you, but you tend to say something without thinking that gets you into trouble. Kana commented with a tease. She's not wrong, you know. Natsu does have a way of finding trouble. Lucy added with a smirk. If he doesn't behave, we can always punish him, right, Kagura? Urza smirked with her returning it, scaring him. Of course, sister. Kagura agreed. He paled and shook his head frantically. I'll behave. I swear. Anything, but the punishments. He cried out. Be sure you do. The redhead nodded in satisfaction. They then heard something coming from one of the girls. Naruto-kun. I want some ice cream with pickles now. Levi screamed at him. He ran to the kitchen as fast as possible, not wanting to experience her wrath. Coming, dear. He told her. So attentive, one of the reasons we love him so much. Mira smiled with everyone nodding in agreement. 4 hours later, they had spent all this time preparing for the meeting, not sure what to expect except for Naruto, who was expecting the civilian council to try something on him and his family, more specifically his daughters and sister Wendy. While they were preparing, they had found a babysitter for the girls who happened to be Kurenai and her team. It was perfect as it would give him the chance to introduce Wendy to some of the genins who will be her future team who had just gotten there. I really appreciate you coming over and helping with watching the girls, Kurei-chan. It means a lot to us. Naruto said, giving her a kiss, making her smile back. It's no trouble at all, Naruto-kun. I love seeing the girls. Come on, my genins, introduce yourselves to them. Hello, I'm Hinata Hyuga. Heir to the Hyuga clan. Hinata introduced, stuttering slightly and blushing a little. Kiba Inuzuka. Clan heir to the Inuzukas and an alpha. He boasted. Shino Aburame. Heir to the Aburame clan. He said in a monotone voice. Nice to meet you all. I'm Naruto Namikaze and these are my wives. He told them, making them drop their jaws, not expecting that with them finding out he was dating their sensei. Hello, I'm Mirajane Strauss Namikaze, Naruto's first wife. She smiled at them. I married you all at the same time, no one was first or second. He deadpanned. Anyway, I'm Lucy Namikaze. Hi, I'm Levi Namikaze. Urza Namikaze. Kana Namikaze. Kagura Namikaze. Wait a minute! You're married and dating Kurenai-sensei? Kiba exclaimed, pointing his finger at him with his jaw on the ground. Don't forget Enko Naruto-kun. Kana called out, making the boy's eyes go wider with blood dripping down his nose. Anyway, I want you three to meet my sister Wendy. She was adopted into the family, and this is her companion Carla. He said, smiling at them. Nice to meet you. I hope we can get along. Wendy said, smiling at them with Hinata returning it while Kiba grinned. Nice to meet you as well, Wendy-san. Shino politely said. Kurei-chan. He said, getting her attention. Remember how Wendy wanted to join a genin team? She nodded, knowing this. Well, we went to talk to my dad about it, and after some discussion, we were able to find a team that was suitable for her. He said, nudging Wendy forward a little closer to them. I look forward to learning from you, Kurenai-sensei. The sister bowed at her. Awesome. If you're going to be with us, then welcome to Team 8. Kiba grinned. Oh, let's work well together. Hinata stuttered out. I look forward to it as well, Wendy-san. Shino nodded at her. Great, now the girls are taking their naps at the moment, so that won't be an issue. There's baby food in the fridge, baby bags are in the living room, so everything you need will be there, and lastly their toys as well. You're more than welcome to use the training ground if you want. Hopefully, the meeting won't last too long. Does anyone have any questions? He asked them, shaking their heads. It's great to see you again. I know the girls will love seeing you as well. He told her, making her blush a little, but calmed her blush down. I miss you too. Kurenai kissed him on the lips when they heard a knock on the door. Yes? He asked, seeing the Umbu member. The meeting is starting soon, Naruto-sama. The Umbu agent said. Thank you. Let my dad know that we'll be there soon. He told him, who nodded in and disappeared in a body flicker. We better hurry, so we don't keep them waiting any longer, he said as they all headed to the meeting. Council room. There were 10 seats on the council, with each seat belonging to a shinobi clan head. There wasn't a civilian council anymore, as Minato had them disbanded after finding out the crimes they had done, and the laws they broke, along with getting the elders executed, along with Danzo. Going from left to right, there is the Yamanaka clan, the Akimichi clan, Nara clan, Aburame clan, Hyuga clan, Uchiha, Inuzuka clan, Senju clan, Sarutobi clan, Uzumaki clan, and lastly Namikaze clan were all in a U-shaped formation. The current clan heads were Inoichi Yamanaka, Chuza Akimichi, Shikaku Nara, Shibi Aburame, Hayashi Hyuga, who was close with Naruto, Mikoto Uchiha, some Inuzuka, the same being with the two matriarchs being his aunts, Tsunade Senju, Asuma Saratobi, Kushina who's gone on the mission still, so she isn't there, and there's no one for the Namikaze seat since Minato is the Hokage. Hiruzen was sitting next to Minato as his advisor after the elders were all executed. Does anyone know what this meeting is about? Sim asked somewhat impatiently since she was working with new dogs. It's too troublesome to think about, but I'm sure Hokage-san will inform us. The Nara said, putting his head down on the table. It must be important since he made it seem urgent, and he was excited for this meeting for some reason. Mikoto said, being curious since he never liked council meetings. We'll have to wait and see. Dad, do you know what's going on? Asuma asked his father. I have an idea, but I'll let Minato explain it to everyone. He smirked seeing them groan and not knowing. It was then they saw a familiar yellow flash revealing it to be Minato, and he was grinning making them even more curious. I want to thank everyone for coming on such short notice, but it was important to have this meeting. It involves someone who has returned to the village. Who's returning to garner such attention? What makes this one so special? Hayashi asked his longtime friend. I'll let him answer. He told him. You can come in now. Minato grinned, looking forward to their reactions more so with Mikoto, Tsum, Hayashi, and Asuma than the others since Tsunade already had seen him. The doors opened to reveal Naruto, Mira, Urza, Levi, Kagura, Lucy, Kana, Wendy, Lisana, and Natsu. Most clan heads rose their eyebrows with Tsunade grinning knowing what's about to happen. Mikoto blushed seeing him, while Tsum, Hayashi, and Asuma narrowed their eyes at Naruto not recognizing him. Hokage-sama, who are all these people? Mikoto asked curious, but still blushing a little at Naruto. May I, Dad? He asked with a smirk seeing their shocked expressions except for Tsunade who was trying not to laugh. Of course you can, Naruto. Minato said, causing the room to go completely silent. What the hell? Mikoto slashed some shouted before they were glaring at the blonde making him gulp and sweat profusely. Hey and Mikoto and Ansum. Did you miss me? He asked nervously while paling slightly seeing their glare intensify. As you can see, my son Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is back and he's not alone either. Could you introduce yourselves please? He asked with Mira stepping forward. Hello? I'm Mirana Strauss Namikaze, wife of Naruto Namikaze. She said with each of his wives stepped forward one at a time. I'm Urza Scarlet Namikaze, wife of Naruto Namikaze. My name is Kagura Namikaze, wife of Naruto Namikaze. I'm Kana Namikaze, wife to Naruto Namikaze. My name is Lucy Namikaze, one of Naruto Namikaze's wives. My name is Levi Namikaze and last wife of Naruto Namikaze. Wendy stepped forward albeit more hesitantly, and slowly being nervous seeing the important people and close friends to Naruto. Hello? I'm Wendy Marvel Namikaze, adopted sister to Naruto Namikaze with Lisana and Natsu lastly stepped forward. I'm Lisana Strauss, Mirajane's little sister. Natsu Drang Neo, best friend to Naruto. It was Mikoto and Sim who got out of their shock first before looking at Naruto in shock. You got married to multiple women? What the hell? Mikoto shouted standing up from her seat. When did you get back? Hayashi asked, smiling at seeing the blonde again after so many years. Yesterday actually, and a lot has changed for me. Learned a lot and become a lot stronger than I've ever been. He said. So you're wanting to announce his return then, Hokage-sama? Asuma asked, still not over his shock at see his lost friend back. That and a few other things that I wanted to mention. First, Naruto will be taking the Namikaze clan head status from me as my heir. Second, since he was put in the CRA. His engagement was put on hold when he disappeared. But with him back he'll be re-engaged to Pakura of the Sand, Yujito-ni, the Jinchuriki of the two-tailed cat, Kuratsuchi, the granddaughter of Inoki who's the third Tsuchikage, and lastly Mei Terumi who's the fifth Mizukage. He said, catching Naruto by surprise about Mei not expecting that. Now, Wendy-chan here is wanting to become a shinobi and after hearing her skills, who was trained by my son would be best to be with Team 8. He said, dropping another bomb on them with Mikoto not sure how to feel knowing she was blushing and checking out her nephew, but can't help not find him attractive with how he's grown up. Sim was grinning at him with the look promising a lot of pain making him pale and sweat being scared of her wrath. Your name is Wendy, right? Hayashi asked. Yes, sir. She answered, making him smile in return. My daughter Hinata is on Team 8, but she has confidence issues which is causing her training to slow down with it hindering her progress. Would you be able to help her with that? Maybe you and Naruto can help her with her Juken as she's struggling to get the fighting style down? Hyuga asked. I'll do my best to help her. I've already become acquainted with Team 8, and I will help her with her confidence too. Wendy told him with Hayashi sighing in relief. We'll do what we can to help her. We'll figure out the best way to work with her, and the others in Team 8. Naruto said to him, thank you both. He smiled at them with them smiling back. Could you help me with my team as well? Asuma spoke up getting his shock under control. Why don't I work with the other teams as well? I can rotate between them and provide tips for them. Naruto suggested. That could work. Does anyone have any objections to that idea? Minato asked, seeing no one argue against it. With that said, Naruto will work with teams 7 to 10 and help their senseis if they can help them with something since Naruto is able to use all 5 chakra natures, can cast and dispel genjutsu. Kenjutsu is on part with my wife, his fuinjutsu I'd assume has improved, and lastly taijutsu as well. Minato surprised everyone, especially Hiruzen, since he could do the same thing. If I may let everyone know of a couple of things that should be kept as a secret, but I want to let the council know since I trust everyone. If the civilian council was here I wouldn't be saying anything knowing how much they suck at keeping secrets. He said with everyone chuckling knowing how true it was. 12 years ago, when the Kyuubi attacked I sealed the Kyuubi into myself making me his Jinchuriki. But that's not all. We've become partners and I am a perfect Jinchuriki like Kyumo's is. He shocked everyone again with this news, making them wonder how strong he is now, but would be even more surprised with what he'll say next. I have a dojutsu that was granted to me by the Shinigami, and no, it's not the Sharingan or the Byakugan. It's this. He closed his eyes and opened them to reveal his Rinnegan, making everyone gasp in surprise with Tsunade being the most vocal about it. The Rinnegan! She shouted in complete shock. Yes, that's right. I have the Rinnegan and have mastered all of its capabilities. He told them. You didn't ask for the Rinnegan for the sake of power, did you? Mikoto asked, slightly glaring at him. No, not at all. It's personal, but it's to honor the Sage of Six Paths who, from what I was told by the Kyuubi, I shared his ideals, so he suggested I get it and can continue his legacy. He said, getting a nod until she understood what he said, her jaw hitting the ground. How does Kyuubi know the Sage of Six Paths? I thought he was just a myth. Shikaka asked. He's his and the other-tailed beast's father. He created them, but that's a story for another time. I'm sure we've been here long enough and my dad has one more thing he wants to mention. He said, getting a nod from Minato, getting their attention. I will be having a test for Naruto to see if he's Jonin material. It's one thing to hear his skills, but another to see them in person, which he has already accepted to do, he told them. Who will be facing Naruto then, as I'm sure there aren't many who'd be able to test his skills? Hayashi asked. I will be fighting him. Was what he said, getting nods from everyone as it made sense. As people began to leave, Naruto was caught off guard when he felt two fists collide with his stomach, making him double over in pain, and began coughing. When he looked up, he could see two very pissed off women, being Mikoto and Sum, causing him to sweat and pale even more than before. Hey aunties. I miss you. He told them while slowly trying to get out of there, when he was pulled back by an innocent-looking Mira smiling at him. He turned back towards the two women who were tearing while still looking pissed off at him, making him feel worse. I'm sorry, was all he said, but was wrapped in a hug by the two. You had us so worried with what you did when we were told what had happened in the attack. What you did was reckless and stupid, Mikoto cried, holding on to the blonde tighter. Sum wasn't doing much better as she was crying into his chest as well. Damn you, Naruto-kun. I don't want you doing anything like that ever again. You hear me? She demanded. He sighed, pulling them even closer to him. I'm sorry. I'm such a baka, I know. Please stop crying. He whispered into their ears. It took them a few minutes to get their crying under control when they stepped back from him to get a good look at him up close, and both couldn't believe how handsome he had gotten, more Mikoto than Sum, since she was thinking about earlier. They went over to meet his wives and sister along with Lisana and Natsu and to get acquainted with them. Naruto talked with Asuma, Hayashi, Hiruzen, Shibi, and Ninto for a number of minutes, with Hayashi and Asuma catching up with him, having their own welcome back, but less tears and emotion. A week later. A week had gone by since his reintroduction, and a few things had happened with Naruto, with the first meet teams 9 and 10, which was interesting to say the least, with also introducing Wendy to them since she was close to their age. Team 7 was still gone in wave, so he couldn't see them yet. He spent time catching up with Mikoto, Sum, Hayashi, his wife Hitomi, who hit him in the head with a frying pan and lectured him about how stupid he was at nearly losing her nephew. He hung out with Asuma, Guy, Anko, Kurenai, Yugao, Shizen, who those two chewed him out like everyone else did, and Hate Gekko, who was a fellow Kenjutsu user. They had met his wives and the girls got along with them, learning about their times with Naruto, and some embarrassing stories with Naruto not being able to look at them for a few days without being embarrassed. Him and his family along with Wendy was introduced to the rest of the village, getting cheers from the villagers, where some were glaring at Naruto, the guys, and then his wives, the women, in jealousy. Mikoto, Sum, Tsunade, Hayashi, Hitomi, and Hiruzen met his daughters and absolutely loved them. The women would coo at them and would never want to let them go, but wasn't surprised since it was like that for anyone that met them. In regards to working with Hinata with her Jukin, he was able to help her by figuring out that the style relied on someone having an earth affinity, as it was a fighting style that required the user to be grounded and sturdy. She discovered that she had a water affinity, which explained her difficulty in learning the style, but was able to get help from her mother Hitomi, who had a water affinity as well, so she was able to start teaching her a different version of the Jukin that would fit with her more flexible body. He was Naruto going through katas in his Kenjutsu, when he brought his sword out, blocking an incoming sword that came from a familiar redhead. Good reflexes, Naruto-chan. I can see they've gotten better, and you didn't slouch in your training. Kushina complimented as they separated, putting her blade away. Thanks, Mom. How'd the mission go? He asked her. It was good. We were able to get the bridge built, but had another encounter with Zabuza and his apprentice, but handled them regardless. That's good to hear. Now that you're here, I can fill you in on everything that you've missed the last week, but let's head inside for now. He told her as nodding, going inside. Good, because we have a lot to catch up and I am not taking no for an answer and I want to see my grandkids, daughter, and daughter-in-laws. Kushina said. They walked inside to see Mira coming down the stairs when she noticed them. Hey Kushina. I didn't know you were back. Mira said, but happy to see his mother-in-law. I got back not long ago, but you weren't here or I couldn't see you anywhere. I went outside and saw Mirajane, so we talked for a little bit. It's good to see you again. Kushina hugged her when Mira returned it. That makes sense. I was upstairs for quite some time after all. Mira told her. Where are the others at? She asked. Kana-chan is with Grandma Tsunade. They've become great drinking buddies since they met. Urza and Kagura are with Kurenai and Anko. Lucy and Levi are sleeping upstairs. They've been getting more and more tired as of recently. Naruto answered by getting nods from them, knowing how that is. I'm going to go check on them and see if they need anything. He said, kissing Mira passionately, then went upstairs, leaving Mira in a daze. He sure is attentive to you all, is he? Kushina smiled, looking where Naruto went when she didn't get a response from Mira. She looked over to see her eyes glazed over. She's not even listening to what I'm saying. She mentally thought to herself, smirking. Is my son that good of a kisser? She teased, knocking her out of her daze. Mira blushed, having been caught like that. Why, yes, he is. I'm sorry about that. She blushed. It's okay. It happens at times, so it's only natural. I want to get to know you as well as hearing about how my son captured your heart, she said, seeing Mira blush get even a deeper shade of red. Something must have happened if she's reacting like this. She mused to herself. Well, Mira went on to explain how they met, with Naruto being challenged by her to a spar, with Naruto spanking her ass, and how they just clicked afterwards and got along. They spent hours talking about it, and her life, wanting to learn more about her. It was hours later when Lucy, Levi, Urza, and Kagura, when they got home and joined in their talk, getting to know their mother-in-law and vice versa. A week later, everyone had gathered in the Chunin exam stadium to watch the match, and many people had been looking forward to seeing the blonde in action. Having not seen him in 12 years would make people curious. What no one knows except for Minato and a few others is that Naruto will have a nice surprise for the match. Naruto could see his family was sitting with Kushina, Mito, Tsunade, and Hiruzen. His friends were all standing at the railing with their genin teams aside from Mito, Kushina, and Wendy. I wonder what Dad is doing in taking so long to get things started, he asked himself when he saw Minato stand up. People of Konoha, today we'll be testing my son to see if he's ready to become a full jonin. It was normally supposed to be me facing him, but decided to change it up with him now going to face 4 jonins instead, so without further ado, we can get started now, he shouted, getting cheers from everyone. 4 people walked, revealing them to be 4 familiar faces that he was familiar with, but hadn't seen them in years. He was surprised by this change, but was terrified not having seen them in years, fearing what they'd do to him. He was not looking forward to this match now. Let the match begin, Minato shouted. What if Naruto has a conqueror bloodline in fairy tale? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.